right, good evening, everybody. Baseball After Dark is back. Yankees now down 3-1. Live score: Seattle up 5-1, bottom six. Kind of a weird play here where Bellinger just slid for a ball, looked like he had a beat on it. Kind of doesn't get it. Tough play, and then now Ernie Clement just rolled another hit through. So Rodon is not having very much success right here, and there was just a play at the plate. Vlad just slid in, so it looks like it's going to be 4-1. And the Blue Jays have a lot of momentum right now, a lot of mojo right now. The Yankees are gonna have to turn it around big time if they're gonna do anything. Man, and the dugout looks dead. They just showed the dugout. Looks a little shell shocked still. So anyway, that's where we're at. Welcome in, welcome in. Getting the updated info here, and we'll get going here. Here's the close play at home. Yeah, Vlad beat that. Vlad's having a hell of a game. Hell of a series. Man, the Blue Jays are rolling right here. It would be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see if they can get the momentum back at all. It's still early in this game, but Carlos doesn't look long for it, so it's interesting. All right, box score right now. We got to update it because it's now 4-1. Carlos at the moment, 2 1/3, 5 hits, 4 earned, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, 1 homer. Bieber, 2 innings, 2 hits, 1 run. It's not earned. Actually, Yankees scored on an error. Fernando Cruz is already, it looks like he might be coming in. No, he's warming up. He's just warming up here. But yeah, we're in a little bit of a pressure, desperate situation for the Yanks right now. So this is kind of, this is where we didn't know we would be here this quickly in this game. But yeah, we're already at that point. Vladdy has postseason baseball in his veins is one of the early comments here. I mean, listen, this guy's been unreal. We'll watch the home run in a minute. 2-0 changeup? You kidding me? But Santander. Curious on the player breakdowns if Carlos is getting any miss right now. 21%, not horrible. It's just all righties. I don't know. Interesting to see this one play out early on here. Now second and third, 1 out. So a hit here and this game's completely blown open. All right, let's go. Let's get back in here. In the first inning, there was a strikeout, a walk, and then Vlad came up to the plate. And here's the 3-pitch at bat. And you know, Carlos, he's been so good all year, but he makes the Cardinals sin here. And I have to wonder if the Blue Jays are just really locked in against lefties. They swung it really good against Max the other day. I saw Carlos has had a really hard time versus this team since he's been a Yankee. Seems like they're locked in on his pitches. So fastball, 1 away, 1 in. And then he goes 2-0 changeup, typically a safe pitch, typically a sneaky good pitch. You know, you're pitching backwards, you're not giving in. You think that this guy's going to be on a fastball, but you kind of throw it away. Vlad is super locked in right now. 110.5 at 27, 427 feet, and that was the early strike that really set the mood in the stadium, from what I can tell watching on TV. But this is such a fascinating home run. 83.6 on this. Hold on one second. 86 on this, and that's way slower than the 2 fastballs he threw, although this isn't typical Carlos velocity. 93, 92, then 83.6. It's not a bad pitch. Of course, he'd like it a little lower, but it's fascinating that Vlad stays back on it so well, as if he's on time for it perfectly, like not looking for fastballs or something. But I think he just might be that locked in spot right now. My God, what a hitter right now. He is so locked in. Like, this is like, you know, like a Rodon status. Sometimes you see Judge get in this place, Soto, but I mean, damn, Vlad is there right now. Man, what a swing. What a beautiful swing. Still 2-2 count over here. Same sitch, 4-1. Santander up versus Carlos Rodon. And then, okay, what else we got here? This is how... So that was the 2 runs in the first, and then in the second... This was kind of the weird stuff that's been happening in this inning. This is still going on. Here's another hit on a changeup. Schneider down the corner, and changeup's been super effective for Carlos. And you can even see he checks the scoreboard right here. Big hit. Blue Jays pouring it on. 6-1 now, top of the third. I think that's going to chase Carlos from the game probably. God damn, this team is hot. This team is so winging it right now. They got all the mojo. Yep, here comes Boone. So Yankees are going to be chasing big time now. Vibes are very low in the stadium for sure. Anyway, here's Carlos just a second ago. He gets a little glance. Then he looks back at Wellesley. Kind of like, what do you got? You know, like he sees the movement on the pitch or something, and he looks back and he's like, I don't know. Felt like that was a good pitch. But they are on it. So you got to credit the Blue Jay hitters right now. They are not off time at all. They are not fooled at all. And once we get the broadcast cam, we'll pick up the rest of this. But this is a pretty dire situation. How are the Yankees gonna go scoreless the rest of the way and give themselves a shot to get back in here? Tough to piece that together. It's a lot of outs to get. So this is a dire situation a little bit in the Bronx as we start the stream tonight. I hope everybody's good. Hope everybody had a nice day. It was a beautiful day up here in the New York, Connecticut area. And there was some rain in Detroit, and that's why that game's going on right now. We'll check on that game right now as well. Mariners and Detroit currently, let's see, is this updated? Yep, 5-1. Logan Gilbert through 6 innings has given up 1 run on 4 hits, no walks, 7 strikeouts, 85 pitches. This is his playoff debut. He's looking outstanding. They got to Flaherty a little bit. Big home run by Gino in this game, and J.P. Crawford as well. Canley came in, Herder, so the Tigers are now chasing it with a bullpen situation now as well. And this is the kind of the concern for Detroit in this matchup. You know, the Mariners have these starters. You know, Gilbert, this is their game 3 starter. You know, they went Kirby, Castillo, and now Gilbert, arguably a top 10 pitcher in baseball over the last several years. So, yeah, this is kind of where we're at. Seattle's now flexing their strength a little bit in this series on the mound. Where we're at right now, Gilbert, 37 sliders, 22 fastballs, 20 splits, 6 curveballs. What a weird mix today. 37 sliders as the primary, and then almost 20 splits, same amount of splits as 4 seams. Getting 40% whiff, though. He's been unbelievable. No walks, I mentioned as well. And look at this, 40 swings, 16 whiffs so far for Logan Gilbert. So both of these games in progress. They're both far from over, but 2 teams have asserted themselves big time early in this game. A lot of Blue Jay fans in our chat as well, MLB. This is an MLB simulcast. Thank you to everybody over there at MLB. Please shoot me questions through MLB. They will. I'll answer some of those as we go here. Let's see here. Yeah, a lot of Doomsday Yankee fans already feeling that way. Oh, from someone in our chat on MLB side. Hey, Adam, watching from England, UK here at 2 a.m. You know, we've had some really cool viewership lately. I'll say that. Australia, people on all different parts of the world. Out in Asia, New Zealand. I've had, obviously, a ton of Canadians with Jays people. So this is really cool. I want to figure out how to properly dub, like, subtitles in different languages and closed captioning in different languages so that we can get some more, you know, Spanish-speaking people in here since they're a huge part of baseball, Japanese-speaking people, etc., etc., etc. But we'll see how it goes over time if we can figure all that out. Here we go here. We've got more in the chat here. The Yanks seem to get confused in the postseason is the best way I can put it. Like they rely on some basic ability to get wins, but don't really know how to play. You know, what's interesting is I thought they played a really good series against Boston. It wasn't perfect, but, you know, they get the W versus Boston. And this reminds me a little bit of that one year, a couple years ago for the Yanks where they got swept in the ALCS by Houston, including getting no hit. It's like all of a sudden the mojo just kind of went really fast. Maybe they can turn it around here, but this is a big road to hoe the rest of the way in this game. They're, you know, Cruz is in there now. Blue Jays are still hitting this inning at 6-1. They got to get out of this inning, and they got to get on offense, and they got to do a few things. So I understand how a lot of Yankee fans are feeling right now, and Blue Jay fans are like, don't stop, don't quit, don't let them breathe, and I get that. Ayo, where is Jake telling us not to sit on the slider now? We were right. Yeah. Yeah. Bieber looking good early in the game here. We'll get into that in a minute. We said that you're probably going to see a lot of sliders out of Bieber in this game. and to righties and a lot of changeups to lefties. Let's see if that's held up in the early going. Ooh, I screwed that up. Yankees and Blue Jays. Well, first I'm going to check the player breakdown. 13 four-seamers, 6 changeups, 5 knuckle curves, only 5 sliders. So interesting. But to righties, he's thrown more sliders. So the most, yes, this is playing out exactly as we thought. 5 sliders to righties, only 4 fastballs, and to lefties, the changeup is the number 2 pitch as well. So let's see what's been happening for Bieber early in this game. First out is going to be on a fastball. Trent Grisham. So the Yankees get out of this inning. Cruz just ended it. So we'll watch it on the broadcast cam here in a minute. Pretty big rally here by the Blue Jays. Kind of putting this game in a much different place. That's the first out of the game. Then Judge gets a hit. Fastball. Interesting. Tries to go in here. Gets it there. But this is where velocity matters a little bit. That's only 92.3. Judge is able to beat that to the spot. Make no mistake about it. This is a really good spot. I mean, that's dotted up and in. That's most guys aren't getting to that, but he finds a way to get it out front there. Slaps it into left. So there's a Judgy hit. And then a couple one-pitch outs. Bieber gets Bellinger here. Man, good pitch to hit. Just under it. That was a good pitch to hit. That was an opportunity for the Yankees, that pitch right there. Look at that. That's center cut. Not anywhere near the top of the zone. Man, just misses that. So, missed opportunity on that pitch. Then we got Ben Rice. Reach on a fielding error. Change up here. We expected the changeups to be heavy to lefties and the sliders to be heavy to the righties. Ooh, a rare Kiner Falefa, weird error there. And then this is how the Yankees score. Stanton gets a hit on a curve here. From our chat, Mariners or Blue Jays in the World Series. Well, I think that's a little bit early MLB chat for saying, you know, that's definitely going to be the matchup in the ALCS. But if I had to pick one of those teams right now, it would be the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays have a lot of offensive mojo that I don't think Seattle quite has. And they have the savage factor. Mariners haven't seen that guy yet. They just have a lot of mojo right now. I think I'm actually switching all my thoughts right now to Toronto, the way they've looked in these 3 games. They have bum rushed the Yankees. And then he gets an out here on a fastball. 94. This is really good velocity for Shane. Also really good pitch here, dotted down and away. That's his game. His command. Living on the edges. And then the second inning has a much better inning. 3 up, 3 down. McMahon. That's a very hittable pitch, too. Hit it hard, but that ball didn't go anywhere. Wow, 104-4 at 33. It's fascinating. Last night, Chorio hit a 3-run homer to dead center in Milwaukee, and I believe the exit velo was like 103-4 at about this launch angle, and it went way further. So it just shows, like, it's not everything, exit velocity and launch angle. Sometimes the spin matters, the atmospheric conditions, the wind. There's a lot of things that can get in the way, of a ball traveling. So they're not all created equal, and sometimes I wish we had a little more information, to judge, these things out in these little boxes, so I could get used to understanding what the spin angles mean and how that's going to knock balls down and different things like that. But we're not there yet. Then he gets 2 punchies to end it. So here's the slider that we were talking about. It's probably going to be a really good location. Mediocre, but bad swing. And then he punches Wells out with a curveball to finish the second. So Bieber's looking good, rolling here. He's actually just came out for the third. His job, if you're pitching in this game right now, you're up 6-1. Your job is to pound the strike zone and force the Yankees to beat you. That's your job if you are a Blue Jay pitcher or any pitcher with a 5-run lead. Barger now at third base. Clement at second. So Kiner Falefa, I think, might be out of the game. Something might have happened there. All right, let's check in on the other game for a sec. Still 5-1 here. I don't have that game up here. Let me flip to it. I'll monitor over here so I can see what's going on. Yeah, Gilbert's done. Matt Brash in. So Mariners are going to put the hammer down here and get the 2-1 lead. They're going to go probably Brash for 2 innings-ish and then to Munoz and try to put it away. 4-run lead should be enough for this, for this group of relievers, but we'll see. All right, let's get in the chat here on my side for a little bit. Thanks for the amazing content. Is game theory sometimes used by teams to optimize pitch selection? Yeah, I mean, that's now well, it's interesting. There's a lot that goes into it. Pitching to people's strengths, trying to make sure they have the right percentages that the internal models point them towards, versus righties or lefties, and playing the long game with it. Like saying if I keep my percentages in line over the long haul with my stuff grades, the machine spits back, X result with X probability, with Y probability or whatever. And so a lot of teams try to, influence people with their scouting reports and whatever to get guys to kind of buy into the analytical framework that they want to work under. But I mean, there's a human side to this game, so there's a lot of pitcher free will that goes into it with most teams, and it should be, and playing the game that's in front of you rather than the long game. But yeah, to answer your questions, there's all sorts of stuff going on. This game is played on so many different levels. It's like I often compare it to chess, of course, but it's really more like Go. There's just so many possibilities of what can happen in a given matchup. Depending on pitcher strengths, batter strengths, prior performance versus one another, conditions, situation. I mean, there's a million things that go into it. And that's why I love it, because no situation's really ever truly the same. Yeah, I noticed this too a little bit on video. Maybe we can see it in a little bit. But yeah, Wellesley's having a tough time on some of these pitches today. Surprising. And then, yeah, people are really being critical of Wellesley right now. I liked him. I mean, I threw to him, I believe, all three of the games that I pitched this year. It wasn't very much. But, I mean, I just came in on the fly. So I basically told him, like, hey, this is what I want you to do, and I'll just call the game, basically. So he was still learning me, so I don't have any real opinion. But I know he works really hard, cares a lot. I know that. That was pretty apparent right away. So I like that. And then, watching him this season, he's been outstanding framing, to be fair. One of the best in the big leagues, actually. Yeah, I have those numbers right here. Catcher framing, Austin Wells, number 3 at positive 11 catcher framing runs. His specialty is down. And it's what's interesting is I've seen him mess up some low pitches today, which is a little weird. But yeah, you see his specialty's down. Positive 13 on low pitches. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. How do I get rid of this window? And if you actually do it by shadow bottom, yeah, he's the best in the league at the bottom of the zone. So it's weird that hasn't showed up as well tonight. So I wanted to point that out a little bit. We can go back to the game in a minute, but yeah, a lot of stuff going on here. If he stuck a few pitches, honestly, 3 crucial strikes would have made a huge difference in this game so far. The count is the game, so I don't disagree with you. And we're gonna watch a lot of the inning in a second that the Blue Jays just had. Grisham just starts the rally for the Yankees. They needed that. He sees about 6-7 pitches in this at bat. Looks like that's going to be a double. Yeah, he's in there with the leadoff double, and now that's the leadoff hitter on base. So Judge coming up, maybe they can get something going here. We'll see. Canadian checking in from Japan. Adam, please don't turn on the multi-language video title option when you get the multi-language subtitle stuff going, though. Oh, don't turn that on? Okay, I won't. I would love some more advice about how to potentially, capture some overseas audience if anybody has any ideas. But we'll see. Blue Jays fans feeling good. I'm a Bieber believer. And Matt Brash just pitched a clean 7th, so Seattle's still sitting pretty over there. There's some funny comments in here that I'm not going to post, but they're funny. So this is a good question. How contagious is hitting in the playoffs? I think hitting is contagious. Hitting is contagious all the time. I think in the playoffs, it's like you can solve a pitcher sometimes collectively as a group in the playoffs. There's so much more focus on the group approach. So much clearer lines of communication. And you can literally break a team's pitching staff over a couple game period if the offense works together. And so that's where I think contagious hitting kind of comes in a little bit there. Yeah, people are talking about the oh, here we go. From our chat, if Judge singles or walks, no real harm. Make him look like a regular season Vlad. Meanwhile, playoff Vlad is playing better than regular season Judge. One thing I'm going to say about this is wild pitch. One thing I'm going to say about this is, Postseason is really just a small sample size. Like, as impressive as it is that, you know, Vlad's stepping up to the plate and just dominating these Yankees arms right now, you know, it's a 3-game sample size. You know, that's why, you know, the regular season reveals a lot about a player's true ability, but I do think, like, the postseason, it is about who can execute in these moments for a chance to do something special, you know, and have a little magic. I don't look at it in, like, as in the big picture context until it becomes overwhelmingly obvious. Like, a guy consistently just does it over and over and over again in the playoffs, and you're like, wow, that's really a feature of this player's game. Judge just doubled, so now they traded places. Yankees scored, and they cut the lead to 4. So again, like, I just look at it a little bit like it's a small sample, and Vlad has looked incredible. In fact, if the Blue Jays do pull off the sweep here, a pretty good chance I'm going to do a video on Vlad's at bats in this series. But you know, Judge just came through here. Everybody wants to compare it, but at the end of the day, this is the team sport. It's really hard for one player to do it all themselves. A lot of the Blue Jays are rigged, not just Vlad, in my opinion. So anyway, thanks for that. What else we got here? Can we watch Flaherty before he gave up all the runs? Yeah, we'll get to Flaherty. What's going on with the Yankees pitching? Well, the Blue Jays are not having a hard time with the Yankees pitching at all. They're just seeing them well. They faced all these guys. The Yankees pitchers are a little bit overexposed. It's the complete opposite of what Savage was the other night, who was completely underexposed, and the Yankees had no idea what was going on. But that's not the case with the Yankee pitchers. The Blue Jays hitters have all seen these guys a ton of times, so I do think that that's a factor. All right, we'll try this at some point. I mean, I just go whoever's dominating. You know, it doesn't matter where they're from. Oh, another hit here. So Bieber's now 3 hits in a row to start off this inning. Double, double, single. Here comes Rice. Yankee Stadium crowd's getting back into it. This could be really good. This could be really, really good. All right. Let's go and look at the rally that the Jays just had on Rodon and kind of see what we can see. 3rd inning, Davis Schneider, 4-pitch at bat. I'm going to see if we can see any framing here. Wow. Swing harder, Davis Schneider. Holy shnikes. This is also just weird. This is a 90.6 mile-an-hour fastball from Carlos Rodon. Like, I mean, yeah, he's thrown a lot of innings, but that's abnormally slow for him. 90.6, very odd to see. All right, 1-1. This one's better. This one's 94. Another huge hack. Man, Schneider swings so hard, and he wanted this pitch back. Yeah, look at the reaction from Schneider after this foul ball. He wanted that back. And then changeup. Again, the changeup has been a great pitch for Carlos this year. Huge pitch, really, in his career. Really good pitch for him. But it's hurt him a little bit today. Vlad with the 2-run homer in the first on a changeup. And now Schneider stays around a changeup somehow. This pitch is, I guess, just not low enough. Also, the movement on it. Let's see the movement on it. Movement on it's solid. It's got solid movement on it. But a good swing. Credit the Blue Jays again. Little dub piece. Start off this inning from Schneider. We got a Kirk. This is a 3-pitch line out, but I'm curious to see what we got here. That was bizarre.
Because that's the place he can go to second base.
He kind of boxed this high one. Now I was saying Wells's ability to frame high is not very good. He's been negative run value on high pitch framing, so he doesn't get that one. This one ends up being an out. They go sinker oddly here. Good swing, just good positioning by the Yanks. All right, that's the first out of that inning. Then Varsho. This is the play that you'll see the Bellinger attempt here. Just weird. He's such a good outfielder. Usually makes these plays. First pitch fastball strike. Ooh, 95. So Carlos reaching back for a little bit more now. That's also a strike. That would have made it 0-2. So I see what you guys are talking about. Struggling at the top. That's shown up in a big way, huh? That's shown up in a big way. He's a low framer specialist, Wellesley. Struggles with the top. There's 2 pitches there that Carlos could have had in the last 2 batters. And then this would have been an 0-2 instead of a 1-1. Put in play. Bellinger comes on. He's there, but somehow misses it. And then Jazz is kind of slow to the party, but they weren't going to get him anyway. I'll show the high home on that. But here's Belly trying to make the play. See, he's there, just kind of catches him in the wrist. It's unfortunate. Unfortunate, but base hit. Very fortunate for the Jays, of course. And then you go to the high home, and let's see the base running here. This is fascinating. You got to go halfway. Oh, he went really far. He would have been doubled up bad had Bellinger caught it. So that's a 2-out swing. Oh, my God. If he makes that play, that swings the entire inning. That swings the entire inning. It's actually really bad base running. It leads to a run. But look at this base running. Schneider's halfway. I have him highlighted here in yellow so you can see right there. That's Schneider. He goes halfway, which is what you're supposed to do, and make sure this ball is going to get down before you go to third. But when Bellinger slides for it, he's already committed to running. Now look how far he is. He's screwed. If Belly catches this ball, he pops up, slides, and then throws this ball to second, and you're out. So this would have been inning over. Yankees are out of it. And, now they'd probably be actually winning the game had that happened, and Carlos's inning would have never got away from him. But again, this is the small things that happen, and the Blue Jays take a small thing, and they crack it wide open into a big thing. So that scores that run. Now you got first and second. And now Ernie Clement, 4-pitch at bat. Let's watch this one. Man, very aggressive. Goes for that high pitch, oddly, but strike one. I would stay up there if I was him. They try to, but that's a bad miss in the middle. Kind of gets away with it. There's another one. Go really high. Oh my God, almost gets clipped there. Just doesn't get it high enough. So the command's just off a little bit. Now he's going to go to the slider. Yeah, but it's just middle. And so, pops it through the hole. They have McMahon, I think, hugging the line. It's a good throw by Belly, but a great read and a great hustle by Vlad. We got to see a little more on the high home. Okay, this has got a lot going on here. So here's McMahon. So he's not as far on the line as I thought. Maybe he got a bad jump off this. And then also, let's pay attention to Vlad here as this play comes. Yeah, McMahon, not a great jump to the ball. Vlad with an excellent cut of the base. Never hesitates and gets in there. Really, really good base running. He's doing it all right now. Yeah, it looks to me like McMahon moved a little bit. I agree in the chat. This is what we got in the chat. Jaden just put that. But if you watch Rymack over here. He actually goes left. Do you see that? He messes himself up a little bit. Maybe the slider, he's anticipating the rollover. But look, the energy's going towards third base before he has to go back to the hole. Otherwise, I think he makes this play, and it might be a double play. So again, we're talking small stuff. Yes, he's probably anticipating a potential ball down the line on a slider. I'd love to know. Because that was weird. How hard was this hit? Only 87. So yeah, I think... Yeah, I think everything they're trying is just wrong right now. I wonder if you can see this from the first base side. Can you see McMahon over there? No, that stinks. All right. So that's a hit, and then Santander, 8-pitch at bat. This is what ultimately chases Rodon. And they just grinded him out. Not able to get that strikeout, And there was no doubt that he was going to go. That was weird. He definitely was guarding the line on his own. Now, meanwhile, the Yankees just scored another run, and Biebs is out of the game. Tying runs at the plate, 2 outs in the third. So this game's far from over. But I've already illustrated how this inning didn't even need to happen at all. If Bellinger caught that ball, it's an easy double play. If that just happens, they're out of the inning with only 1 run. Instead, it ends up being a much bigger inning. Maybe 2 runs, but whatever. It's way less runs than it ends up. 1-2 count. So he's got him ahead in the count here. Just can't put him away, huh? Another mistake down the middle. This is a dangerous pitch. Kind of lucky he gets away with this one. Slider middle down. So just clearly, I'm just looking at it right now. Just he's making mistakes within the strike zone in this game, Carlos. And then some non-competitives as well. He just looks a little tired to me. I mean, he's been doing a lot for this ball club. But yeah, the accuracy's a little off for sure. There's a foul ball. And then 2-2 sinker. And man, he just slices it to right. Santander, a man who really hasn't played much for the Blue Jays in many months. Makes the playoff roster, has been in the lineup. I know his pedigree. I know the type of hitter he was with the Orioles. And with Team Venezuela, certainly as well. absolute laser into right, slices his ball to right. So tough break for Carlos in a lot of ways. I don't think he had his best stuff by any means, for sure. He wasn't able to pitch around bad stuff behind him, which I always say. People would always ask me about, stuff going wrong behind you. The reality is, the best players in the world, when they're at their best, the best pitchers in the world when they're at their best, don't need. They can overcome bad stuff happening. So I think that's a big deal. I just like best teams overcome stuff. If you don't overcome it, then because that stuff's gonna happen to every team. That's just reality. So that was weird because Mac's such a great player. Yeah, he had second or first. Bellinger had second or first. He had somebody out there the whole time. Either way, he would have been in a good spot there. Let's see how the Yankees bullpen does. That's what it comes down to. Mr. Fluharty, I believe, is in the game now for the Jays. Yep, Mason Fluharty. He is getting... Who's he getting here? He's getting a pinch hitter, Ahmed Rosario, for Ryan McMahon. So early fire of the pinch hit here. I think it makes sense, though, honestly. Let's see how it plays out. So this is a pretty good little early initial comeback here from the Yankees. And that's where we're at right now. We'll watch that inning more once we get to it. Mariners-Tigers check-in, still 6-1 now. Gilbert, 6 innings, no walks, 7 strikeouts on 85 pitches, and that's it. And on the other side, Tigers still piecing it together in the bullpen. Let's pop over to this game for a second while we wait on the Yankee-Blue Jay game to get sorted through. So it's the Mariners and the Tigers. And Jack Flaherty, early on in this game, was pretty good, huh? Yeah, huge AB here. Good point. Good point, MLB. And I know you're talking about the Yankee game, but it is. Rosario 0-2 count, huge at bat. So he gets Randy in the first. This is Flaherty, Cal Raleigh. With 1 pitch out. Good location there. Gets it to up and in. Very good. Very, very good. Can of corn. And then Julio is going to punch him out with the knuckle curve. So, Jack is capable of locking it in with really good command on the breaking ball and the 2 different breaking balls. And if he dots that fastball away, he's usually rolling. So that's what it looked like early here. This is a beautiful first inning from Jack. All right, Yankees don't come through. Rosario gets out, but now it's 6-3. Plenty of ball game left. All right, we're watching over here. Polanco. They're going to get him with a knuckle curve. I've been showing it time and time again, but again, where's this location, Right below the zone, right where you need it. And look where it starts. Look at that height. Right in the middle. And then swinging right over that thing. Beautiful, beautiful pitch. So Jack started off really nice in this game. Even gets a nailer. Oh, Naylor's back. He made it back from the berth. 11 pitch at bat, though, here is grindy. It's going to take me a little while to get to it. Hold on. All right, here's pitch number 11. Still 2-2. Goes to the not very used changeup. Josh gets in these swing modes sometimes, though, where he'll just swing at literally every pitch you throw him and foul a lot of them off. Put one in play eventually. That looks like what happened there. And then there's a walk and then a can zone strikeout, also on knuckle curve. So 3 early strikeouts on knuckle curves in this game. And he looked great first time through the order. All right, third inning, though, is where it gets a little different. 3 pitch at bat, Victor Robles.
2 scoreless through and a foul ball by Victor
First pitch
Robles.
fastball fouled back.
The left shoulder dislocation.
Another dot away, so 0-2 with 2 nice fastballs. Here's a knuckle curve. Ooh, first mistake of the day. Hangs the knuckle curve middle in. Robles is all over it. How hard he hit this? 98.7 at 10, so a nice little line drive down the line. And a leadoff double, and that's huge because that's the bottom of the order. He's going to flip the old order around to the top. Now they have the guys up that they want with runners on base. So Rosarena, 2 pitch at bat. Oh, wait, no. J.P. Crawford. Crawford's actually in the 9 hole. This is the bottom of the order right here, these 2 guys. Robles and Crawford, I believe. I think Randy's batting leadoff. I don't know. Yeah, 9 hole Crawford. Immediately, Jack goes into breaking ball mode. 1-1.
Foul back, and it's 1-2.
93 up top.
Swing game of this ALDS. The 1-2. Crawford muscles one towards left center field. That's going to get
Fits
down.
that little ball in there.
A little bit of a late start.
And then Riley Green throws it to no one. And it gets by Dingler. And that's how the run scores. Holy cow, he's still almost out, too. That was a crazy play. So I don't know what happened here. Riley Green throws it. Here's the throw. Third baseman who's doing the cutting doesn't hear anything and then it just gets through Dingler. So everybody moves up. Critical mistake. I do like the slide here, though, by Robles. Watch this. Here he comes. Just a little stand-up. It's like a little stand-up slide at home plate. And I was actually talking about this yesterday. The issue that a lot of people have on plays at the plate as runners is they don't get their foot to the ground. They get over the bat, like over home plate, but they're over it. They don't actually touch it, and they get tagged out. So you see that a lot. All right, and then there comes a Rosarena single, 2-pitch single. This is going to make it 2-0. And guys are being super aggressive that second time through. Oh, little perfectly placed tapper. He didn't even hit that hard. Huh, never mind. 105.5. It's so hard to judge these ground ball exit velocities. Yeah, Robles had no idea what was going on. He screwed up the base running at the beginning. But on that play, like we'll go back to that play for a second. It was a really weird play. Let's watch Victor here. Victor's on second. But the hustle to home and the slide was very effective. So he gets held up, and then he's not even really watching, but then he springs into action. So not anticipating anything going wrong, but fast enough to make up for it. So that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. This makes sense. Sometimes they get so used to sliding into a bag that they don't get their hand and foot down while getting to home plate. That's the case. You know, you're used to kind of like sliding into an object, and then home plate's flat as a pancake, so you got to slide on top of an object. Just a little bit different there. Boone says we're just going to start parading them out there. Yeah, they are. It's going to be, you know, Bednar, Devin Williams, Doval probably. Obviously, Cruz is in there now, and they'll try to throw up as many zeros as they can and get back into it, and they'll worry about tomorrow. If they do get there, they got Mr. Schlittler on the mound. He looked pretty good last time out, I'd say. And then Jack got out of that inning, but with a couple punch-outs, nice punch-outs. Julio, slider. Let's see where this one is.
Had to challenge him.
Yeah, good chase pitch there. And this was big because you got no outs first and second. You're on the verge of giving up a huge inning. He actually does pretty good job to get through this. Strikeout, fly out. Does get clipped in the fourth, and that kind of defines his outing ultimately. But really good job here to battle through this. Nice curveball. Knuckle curve was a good pitch for him. And then he even gets Naylor out on one pitch, even though this was awfully scary. 102-2 at 30. And Josh thought he might have got it. Well, that's deep out there, which just makes Miguel Cabrera that much more impressive doing it right-handed all those years. But here's the Eugenio Suarez home run leading off the fourth. He's one of the best guys in the world at hooking outside strikes for homers, so let's see if that's the case. Foul ball, strike one. It's actually more middle in. But yeah, perfect swing, that launch angle approach. Suarez really good at hitting fly balls to left. And 104.8 at 31 will get it done. 422. That's what they brought him in for. And I don't think he had a hit in the postseason until this. But they'll certainly take it. They will certainly take it. Man, it's so uppercutty, but obviously the angle's perfection for homers when he clips it. Wham. Big home run there. There's a little separation there. And, Cal Raleigh just went deep in the game to make it 8-1. So now Seattle's running away with it. Here's the Cal homer. That just happened. Wow, Oppo Taco 105.9. So that's homer number 61 for Cal Raleigh. If you count the regular season, right? Damn, 105.9 Oppo shot. A lot of offense tonight, all around, except for Detroit, which we kind of knew was their weakness relative to the rest of the teams that are left. Man, nice swing. Oppo Taco. That's the thing too. Like he's really good at pulling home runs, but he also hits these as well. Makes it really hard to pitch to a guy who can go pole to pole, meaning all over the field for homers. That's nice. On the other side, Logan Gilbert will just watch the put away pitches on the strikeouts. Going to see a lot of splits probably, and he's got 670 RPM, so that's a fork ball in my mind. Man, that's so nasty. First of all, the delivery is scary as hell. And then he drops it right on the plate. Nasty with it. Parker Meadows. Going to get him with a heater. 96 with 20 inches of vert. Man. So yeah, so he throws that literally like slow motion knuckleball forkball thing. And then 20.3 mile an hour four seam up. But also look at the delivery and the way he jumps off the mound with 7-7 extension. So we've seen this a lot in the last 2 days. Mizorowski and now Logan Gilbert, guys who their extension is a big part of their game. How close they release the ball to home plate. And Logan Gilbert really accentuates that ability right here. Just blowing 96 by him, which really plays like 98 and a half. Yeah, Vlad's up there right now. Oh, looks like he might have got out, though. No, of course he got a hit. Grounded it right through the hole. Unbelievable. Strikeout there. Kerry Carpenter's going to punch out on a slider. Let's see where the location is on this. Oof, weird slider. True bullet. Not a lot of spin. Sort of a weird death ball. Also, Logan Gilbert's rocking a very scary-looking goatee. Yeah, 8-1 M's, but we got to give love to Logan Gilbert because he set the tone. It makes such a difference when you have great starting pitchers. Any time of the year, especially now, though, when other teams are trying to piece it together with, 6 guys a night. Riley Green, back foot, Smelia, nice pitch there. McKinstry, this is going to be a slider again. So punching a lot of guys out with sliders. Oof, really, really nice. Really, really nice.
And it's a 1-2-3 inning.
And then Colt Keith. See if this is a slider too. Nope, splitter. Man, that pitch is so nasty. The guys that throw these fork balls, this just undresses hitters when you get them sped up. This is 659 RPM. Look how far in front Colt Keith is on this. Okay, Duvall's in now. Yeah, you're toast. And then Torkelson was his last victim, also on a splitter right on right.
That's why, because he looks at the AL and says it's vulnerable.
Disgusting. Great outing from Gilbert. Gives him 6 innings, 1 run. Matt Brash did his job, 3 up, 3 down. Now Pizzardo's in there, and then they probably won't even need Munoz because they have such a big lead in this Wago right now. Good games tonight. Really good game for Seattle. This Toronto Yankee game, I have a feeling, is not quite over yet, but the Yankee bullpen's going to have to step up huge. They can't afford really to give up any more runs. And the Yankee offensive attack needs to really expose the underbelly of this Toronto bullpen situation, although they're not going to hesitate. They're going to throw all their best guys here and try to finish it in 3. All right, let's see what we got here. Yeah, of course. Then there's a ground ball that Vlad just got another hit on. They're saying Jaden saying McMahon would have had that ball. So it's like you're just damned if you do, damned if you don't. John Schneider was like in charge of the draft at the time, I'm assuming here, Mitch. It's interesting. Yeah, His Logan Gilbert split is as filthy as that goatee. So now Caleb Ferguson's in there for Seattle in the 9th. So no Munoz. Seattle's looking to put the finishing touches on this one and set themselves up 1 win away from the ALCS. Doval's now in there trying to hold it down. On the pinstripe side, trying to give his hitters, punching chance in this game. So we'll kind of see how this goes. This is great. We're doing great tonight. Really appreciate everybody from MLB that's hanging with us as well. This is awesome. Where are we right now in the Los Yankee game? Cruz ends up going 1 1/3, 1 hit, 3 punchies. Another guy with that forkball split type pitch, which seems to be just a dominating pitch in this postseason. You Savage, Gosman, Yamamoto with the splitter, Logan Gilbert now we've seen, Fernando Cruz. There's probably more that I'm forgetting. Chapman threw a few early. If there's anybody I'm forgetting, please shout them out. But yeah, splitters and changeups have been excellent. Kick changes and splits are kind of all the rage at this moment. Oop, Detroit just got a hit. Look at Vlad leading off first early like he wants to run the whole time. From our chat, as a Brewer fan, it's funny that the Yankees season is going to end the same way they started our season, 20 runs in 3 games. Man, I forgot about that. Way back on opening day, the Yankees put the hurting on them. That's when the torpedo bats were all the talk, and the Yankees hit like 9 home runs, and they destroyed Nestor Cortez and the Brewers early, and now the Brewers flipped the script on that and had the best record in baseball, and the Yankees are in deep doo-doo here, giving up 20 runs over 3 games, so that's a good point, Brewers fan. Baseball comes around, Nothing's ever the same for too long. This is this current state of affairs for the Yankee starters in this series. 16.88 ERA at this point. All right, 2-strike count. Doval trying to throw up a 0 here in the 4th. Ground ball to Rosario. Deep play. Long throw, but Kirk's running, so good play. The old 1-hop over there. So we'll let's check in on the Yankee little comeback against Bieber here. How they kind of have started to weasel themselves back into this game. Third inning, Trent Grisham, 7-pitch at bat. First pitch, fastball, strike. So Shane, this is what I said. He has to come out there and make the Yankees earn it. You know what's interesting though? The Yankees kind of did earn it this inning. Credit to them. So that's what you got to do as a pitcher here. You got a 5-run lead. You got to pound the strike zone. That's what Shane Bieber did. But he, second time through the order, Yankees did make some adjustments here and had some good at bats. Also, that's not very good command of the changeup right there with 2 strikes. This is non-competitive, obviously.
They gotta feel like, I don't think people appreciate.
Here's the curve. Really close but low. Good pitch, good take. Boone's incredulous about something. Fastball down. Good job swinging at that. Honestly, that would have been a good frame job. Freeze job had he not swung. And then he's all over this fastball. So just too many pitches in the same part of the zone. Bottom of the zone with the guy in swing mode. Kind of what happened there.
He says, "Don't worry, Skip. We'll take a double instead."
And then Judge. Judge had a nice at-bat here.
This crowd wants a loud noise right now.
Slider. So for all the Judge haters, I believe 2 for 2 in this Wago to this point. In a big spot. Gets down 0-2 count here though. Slider, then knuckle curve. I love the dynamic of the 2 different speed breaking ball. I also love this take. Holy cow. You can't really throw much of a better slider than this. This is what Shane Bieber's known for, is putting this pitch right here and playing with your strike zone judgment ability right down and away. He executes the crap out of it here, but you got to give credit where credit's due. Judge doesn't budge. Gets to see another pitch. Pitch number 4, another slider attempt. This time easier take. Runner moves up. Now he's going to go 2-2 changeup. Interesting. Also, Judge does a great job staying on that ball and somehow keeping it fair. I've always said that I thought the right-on-right changeups are pretty safe when they're inside because usually if the guys hit them, they'll hit them foul. But Judge's technique here is interesting. Watch the lead leg. He hovers, and as the ball comes in, he kind of opens it up a little bit, right? That's an early open up, but that allows him to kind of, in a way, he stays back enough and clears it out enough where he can then beat it out in front. You see how he beats the ball out in front, keeps his arms tight here? Just an impressive swing. Weird pitch to throw, obviously, but should have been safe to most batters, but not Judgy. 107 at 20, and they trade places. Double-double. Then we got Bellinger's single. What are we talking about here? What are you guys talking about? Did I miss something? Anyway, here's Bellinger's hit while we're still going through this until somebody updates me on what I need to look at. Here's Bellinger's hit. Also a good job with a two-strike approach here. Just slaps it in there. A little bleeder in the center. Varsho can't get it. So 3 hits to start off this inning. Judge doesn't score. Eventually comes around later on a fielder's choice, Ben Rice.
Judge at third, Bellinger at first. Rice.
Catcher's interference not called. Also, Tiger's not dead? Oh yeah, 8-3 right now. Coming back on Ferguson a little bit here. Alright, so this was a crazy play. This is an important base running thing to learn from, you know, if you're a kid at home. Runner here. He's on first base, but his job is to get to third. Judge's job is to stay in the rundown long enough to let this runner get to third. That's what he does there. I mean, you know you're a dead duck in this situation, but if you can delay it long enough, if you're Aaron Judge here and you can delay it long enough, you allow Rosario to get to third base. That's what he does here. He knows he's out, but if he just gets himself out right away or tries to be too aggressive to home early, then Rosario never gets to third. He doesn't do that. He stays in it really good and does a nice job. Then Stanton with the sac fly. Again, another perfectly put pitch down and away, and the fact that Big G almost hits that out is amazing. 103 to center at 25. Interesting, it's an estimated 405. That seems about right with the 408 sign there. But, man, sucks. Like I mentioned yesterday, Chourio hit a ball similar exit velo to this to dead center, and it worked. It went actually way out. So, a little crazy there. Then we had a Jazz walk. So, this was a really quality rally by the Yankees. 2-out walk here. This chases Bieber. That was probably a strike. Doesn't get it. And then Fluharty had to come in and save the day, getting a huge out here of Rosario. So that's where we stand. Rosario was the pinch hitter for McMahon. Still 6-3. Fluharty is in there now, facing the Yankees in the top of the fourth. Duvall came in and did a nice job. Let's see where we're at. Yeah, Duvall got his guy. Fluharty's doing a great job too. Settling down the middle. And Ferguson's out. Munoz is in the other game. So, yeah, this game got a little closer. This is the worst feeling as a pitcher. You come in with a huge lead to close it out. Yeah, there's still 0 outs in this game. 8-4 now. Started 8-1. And you don't do your job and they have to bring the closer in. You just feel so pathetic. One of the maddest I've ever been was in 2022 when I came in to close out the second game of our playoff series versus the Padres when I was with the Mets. And I had like 3 walks, and I just like couldn't quite close the door. They had to bring in Lugo because Diaz had already pitched. Lugo came in and got the last out, but I was just like banging my head against the wall like, I'm better than this. Why can't I get this last out? It's so frustrating. I had some strikeouts. I started off the inning looking good, and then it just like good at bat after good at bat after good at bat. I couldn't break it. Yeah, Ferguson, 0 innings, 3 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned runs, and a walk. So he faces 4 batters, gets none of them out, and that's why we are where we are right now. Let's pop over there and see if we can see anything. Detroit and Seattle. Jake Rogers single. Little ground ball here. Ooh, look at this. Look at the positioning. Hit it hard though, 108, that's the key there. So really hard hit ball, like kind of a low line drive ground ball type of swing, but then a 4-pitch walk. This is the stuff that, you know, is the more frustrating stuff. You're going to give up hits. But yeah, and then Torkelson with a double. Going the other way. See on the high home. See the merry-go-round start. Man, perfect placement down the line, and everybody's just go, 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 go. Yep, 2 runs easily score. And then Andy Ibanez gets a hit, so. Oh, Yankees just got on. Barger make an error or something? What just happened? Oh, yeah, they're showing him. There must have been an error. Anyway, that was kind of what happened. What do you got from MLB? From MLB, I hope the Jays win the World Series. I was only a few months old when they won it in 92 and just over a year when they won it in 93. I mean, dude, Jays fans are great fans. I've been saying it all along. I felt it while I played. They've been waiting a long time to have an awesome team and to go really far. And yeah, they're in the driver's seat big time in the American League, I think, if they complete the sweep tonight. All right, Munoz is in there now. No outs in the ninth. Trying to shut it down. Detroit fans really trying to get behind their team here. Dylan Dingler is the first batter over there. Judge coming up. They're going straight to pitching change. So 2 guys on for Judge. Judge is the tying run. Yankees really making it interesting here. Yankee fans are like, this is the moment. Judge has got to do this. He's got to bring us back. We got to go back to the other game. This is fun. We're going back and forth a little bit live. These games are going slow. The pitch clock is not helping these games along, but this is where we're at. Flu RT. Yeah, here's the third error by Barger. Can I see it on the high home? Because we don't have that view yet. Ooh, routine pop-up, huh? Oh, and then he didn't get under it. Honestly, though, where's the left fielder? This is the left fielder's ball. Look how deep, where this ball lands. And look how, long Schneider's standing there for. So you can blame Barger all you want. It's an easy play. You should have made it. But left fielder's got to be there. He's got the better look at it. And also, it's important to know, when a lefty hits a ball towards the third base line, typically that ball's going to do, one of these weird, actions back, and it's going to be hard to judge. Speaking of Judge, Judge is coming up. I just had a thought that broke my brain. If Jays win World Series, Don Mattingly will win the World Series as a Blue Jay. That is kind of crazy. And then Fluharty, walk of Grisham here, 5-pitch walk, and that's how the Yankees are. Yankees are in business. 2 on for Judge. We're waiting on everything that's going to happen here. It's going to be Varland. So this is the matchup that everybody wants. Varland's been the electric fireman of the Jays run lately. So this is a great matchup coming up. Varland versus Judge. I can't wait to look at it once it's over. That's Schneider's ball. Not Schneider ball, but Schneider's ball. Yes, that's what I meant. All right, we're kind of waiting on this. In the other game, there's an out now. So Dingler got out, and Munoz is ahead of the count on Parker Meadows. They didn't want to have to use Munoz in this game, obviously, but you know what? You just got to win this game. So you just do it. I think I'm going to switch over to the full screen on my other thing just to lock in on this Judge at bat for a second. Because here we go. Louis Varland, Aaron Judge. 4-3, 2.97 this season in 74 games. Workhorse, 75 Ks, 22 walks. That's a really, really quality season. He's got a little short arm action with cheese on it, Louis Varland. So this is an awesome matchup that I can't wait to show you as soon as this is over. Oh, Judge goes after the first pitch. Slider, foul ball. No surprise here, Cobra. That seems like a good spot to hit. M's hold on and win. All right, so congrats to the M's. As the M's hold on and win. They are now 2-1 up in that series. Oh, Varland just went right at Judge with 100 by him. Holy cow. So now it's 0-2. He's going slider, foul ball, and four-seam up-ish. Super late on it. This is a good comment by Dano because that's such a big factor. Man, he should have hit that pitch. I know it's a little up and it's 100, but Aaron Judge, best hitter in the world. I feel like he should have been on that. All right, 0-2 count. He's a tough guy to put away, though, even as good as he is. I mean, as big as he is and stuff. Let's see. Oh! Oh, if that's fair, it's gone. Oh, off the foul pole! Oh! You gotta be kidding me. This pitch was up in probably 100. He stood there because he thought it was foul. And this game is tied, and there is like babies being born and demons being exercised in that dugout. Yankees are back in this. This is amazing. Wow. Mitch is at the game right in front of him off the foul pole. Unreal. Wow. Come on, pull it up already, iPad. Show me Judge. Even though we won't have the broadcast view. We're going to keep pounding it until it comes up. Man, what a freaking swing. He pulled his hands in so tight on this. How do you keep this ball fair? How do you hit this ball this far? Oh, here it is, Varland. Here we go, 3 pitches. First pitch was a knuckle curve, not a slider, excuse me. Fouls it off. Second pitch, this is that 100 right at him. Yeah, he was super late right here. Look at this. So that's when I was like, damn, did you just throw another one? And here's the pitch, the moment of truth. 99.7. How did he do that? Look where this pitch is. That is way up and in. Man, pulls the hands through, forces that top hand through. Dude, how the hell did he do that? I am in awe of that swing. He like got right in here and just paddled it, and somehow it didn't hook enough to not be a home run. Let's look at it from the side, because you're going to see him pull his hands in nasty here. Oh, that ball was hanging in what felt like forever on the way out to the pole. So Varland gets clipped by Judge. Can you freaking believe it? Holy cow, 103-1 at 35, but the real key is the pulling of the hands in. How? But he catches it so far out front. I'm curious to see what he looks like while he's watching it. Let's see if we got it. He's very unsure. Look at all these boys in the dugout down here that are wishing that this ball's going. They're going, come on. You see them talking to it. McMahon's talking to it. Fried's talking to it. Volpe's talking to it. Judge is just manifesting it. Gone. What a swing. What a freaking swing. How'd he do that? So now we're 6-6. We got a freaking ball game. What a freaking ball game. This is awesome. So it all comes back to that dropped pop-up a little bit, huh? Sheesh. Sheesh, sheesh, sheesh. Yeah, that would have been 2 outs, nobody on. It would have been a kind of a different situation. Wow. That was electric. I can't wait to see it on the broadcast cam. Everybody, I mean, I want to see the ump cam. All right, the inning just ended, so we're going to get a look at it in a minute. Dude, he pulled the hands in incredible levels. Oh, wow. That's so sick. I bet you I could find maybe on the research thing I can get the ump cam. Ump cam is a must see. We need ump cam on the iPad MLB. Oof. Oh, you paused the stream just for Judge's AB. And you did a good job there, Daniel, because you were right. You were right to do that. He came through major. That was unreal. That was insane. Holy cow. Holy cow. All right. Sheesh. I don't even know what to do right now. All right. Let's see if we can find something. Hold on. I gotta take you off there for a minute. All right, we'll just put that there while I figure this out. Hold on. Kind of has early 2000s MLB vibes. That's a hell of an era. I'll say that. I heard Yankee Stadium hold its breath collectively. Yeah, no more password accidents. We fixed that problem. All right, so I found it, but I need to see what we can do here. How do I get, see, the highlights don't populate till later, but obviously the home runs here. See if there's a way to, oh.
Pitch. Hits a drive down the line. If it's
I want to get this cam really bad.
It is. It's tied. George has arrived.
You guys are funny with your password stuff. Stick and move. I don't keep them the same. Man, look at the zoo out there in Yankee land. Damn, no catcher umpire view cam. Unfortunately, I don't think we can get that. But just look at the bleacher creatures for a second. Look at these psychos. Yeah, they're gonna show them all bouncing around here in a second. These guys. Oh my god. Anyway, that was crazy. Six Doval in there now. Man, the whole vibe of this game just shifted big time. Anything could happen here. So this is a good question, MLB, because Schlittler had his worst start of the year versus the Blue Jays the last time he faced them in Toronto. And he's coming off the best start of his life, obviously. So I feel like we have no real way of knowing, but I do feel like he's unlocked a little something with his pitch mix lately. And if his velocity and strike throwing ability is the way it was versus Boston, I give him a great shot to overwhelm these guys. But the Blue Jays are a little more locked in than the Red Sox were, especially obviously Vlad and guys like Varsho who actually just struck out. But they have some guys that are swinging it really well right now. So I think it could be a bigger challenge than the Red Sox game was. But man, Schlittler, he'd thrown the game of the postseason so far, right? So I give him a good chance. Give him a good chance. Reading passwords off the reflection of the blue right glasses. You guys are. I mean, there's nothing to find. There's nothing to see anyway. All you do is mess up my my research. It's not like it's my banking information or anything. Oh, Clement, this guy's red hot tonight. Is this his third hit? Yeah, Ernie Clement 3 for 3. He's having a hell of a series. It might be even better than Vlad's series in a way. This is about Cam, this comment here. Yeah, I just think, it's all about getting ahead in the count, figuring out how to not get ambushed, because these Blue Jay hitters have been very aggressive, and that's been part of their formula. Don't let the Yankees get into 1-2, 0-2 counts. Here's what Jaden's got on it. So Santander up there now, 1 out, runners in scoring position. Actually, I like this matchup for the Blue Jays here. I like Santander in this matchup. This was Clement's double just now. 98-mile-an-hour cutter, but he's locked in. 98.7 at 23. So Ernie Clement 3 for 3 today. Single up the middle.
Take for the Yankees tonight. Clement puts it in play to first. Rice has
No.
it.
Infield hit.
And Clement beats it out
Good hustle. What happened to Carlos here? Was he late getting off the mound? Or did Ernie just flat out beat him and the ball took forever to get there? He wasn't really late. He did a good job here, but Clement got a great jump, and this ball just took forever, I think, to get to Rice.
Big for the Yankees tonight.
Yeah, he was gone, and Rice backed up a little bit, and then Ernie just beat him. So credit to Ernie on that, and then he gets a hit here.
Can't get yourself in that position.
Yeah, that ground ball through the hole, that McMahon went the other way. So 3 hits for Clement. 2 singles and a double. 2 outs in this inning. If Duvall can shut it down, the Yankees definitely have stolen the momentum back in this game. And now anything could be possible, which is what's great about baseball. Judge just made a sick diving catch as well. He's doing it all. He's swinging it. He's fielding it. He's a really good player. Really, really good player. Do you think there's a formula for having 3 of the best starting pitchers on the team to compete in the playoffs? Like in terms of like what type of pitchers you'd like to have? I mean, I don't know if that's the question or not, but I guess that's the question I'll answer, MLB. I feel like you want to have 3 elite pitchers, but that are all a little bit different in styles. You don't want them to all be exactly the same. So I kind of like what like the Dodgers are featuring right now. Like there's Ohtani, whose repertoire is different than Yamamoto's, who is different than Snell. And then you have Glasnow in there, who's also different. So a lot of top-end talent, but in a nice variety. That's what I would say would be ideal, because then you're not going to get pigeonholed into one style that can't beat a certain lineup. But again, like, yeah, perfect world. You have nothing but, all-star pitchers like the Dodgers have, or like maybe the Mariners have. Although one of their issues is there's a lot of redundancy there with the righties and the approaches of some of the Mariners guys. So that's a little bit different than what the Dodgers have. But again, yeah, you want as much variety as possible. I guess that would be my answer. Is this true? Judge is now the most home runs of all time when facing elimination. Freed's chomping at the bit, trust me, to get another chance. I'll tell you that. That's how the best think about it. They don't think about, oh, this team beat me. They think, give me another shot at these guys. Good question here about the bullpen compiling, mixing and matching with the rotation. I've talked about this a little bit before. It's important to contrast styles even within a game. Like if you're in a tight game, a pitcher's duel game, and your starter who's been dominating is like a 4-seam ride guy, I really like people to come in after that are more east-west pitchers. I don't want to bring in, like when DeGrom would pitch, I didn't want to bring in the Walmart version of DeGrom behind him. I wanted to bring in a completely different brand altogether, completely different style altogether, and vice versa. Like if I have a sinker ball guy, maybe I do want my 4-seam velo to come in later. So yeah, I even want to give variety to what the hitters have to see within one game, let alone one series. I remember actually one thing that I didn't love in 2021 that we did for a period of time, and eventually I think they rectified it with the Red Sox, is they pitched Martin Perez and Eduardo Rodriguez back-to-back starts. From a pitching standpoint, they're very similar. Similar arsenals, command game, east-west, a lot of Xing on the corners, a lot of command to their game, similar velocities. I didn't think that was a good idea, and they eventually rectified that. But yeah, variety is important, if that's the question. This is awesome. International over here in the MLB chat. Panama, Brazil, South Korea. Love that. Oh, he tied Ortiz. He has not passed him. Okay. Still, though, pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. David Ortiz, obviously known for his postseason exploits. Big time. Duvall looking to pitch through this inning. Actually, no, it's Tim Hill now facing Barger. Little tapper. Tim Hill looking to get the final out of this inning. So this is going to be a grind of pitching changes probably the rest of the way. What's Tim Hill like is the question in the chat here from Jaden. So they call him Bones, which I found out pretty quickly, and I guess that tracks. You look at him, he looks like a Bones, right? Just like skinny, all bones. Obviously, he throws really like funky. I liked him though. Really good personality. Seemed like a great dude. Happy every day. Ready to work. Loves to compete. Yeah, if you're profiling him, I'd say definitely the type of guy you could have a cigarette with in the back, but in the hallway or something. But I don't know if that's even his lifestyle. Honestly, he was only there a few days, and I thought he was dope. Maybe we'll find Tim Hill on the stream at some point. MLB. That'll be dope. We're gonna have Dylan Betances on here tomorrow. He's gonna talk Yankees. He's at the game right now, so he's gonna give us a little insight on the vibes of the stadium and everything. And just we're gonna talk Yankees for a while. He looks 50 years old. I don't know. I think I just love it. Yeah, he only pretty much throws the heater, but it works. It's an angle that nobody else has, and it just really works. I don't even think this should be a hot take. This is easy. I can do that job with my eyes closed. Spread the word. Yeah, Tim Hill would be dope. I'm trying to get as many different personalities on here as we can over time. It'll be great. Yeah, this is a great question by Spectre, because this is where we're at in this game. Who do the Jays go to from here on out? Will we have a Yariel Rodriguez sighting in this game? The Cuban? I need to get a drink of water in a second. I am parched, quite parched. Not necessarily. All bullpen guys, even if they throw slow, on some level can be Red Bull chugging, you know, anxiety balls of stress in the bullpen, and then come out there and just kind of do their thing. This is a great comment by my buddy Jared of who's ready to go for the Jays. Is Pat Henkin available? Man, Pat Henkin was one of my favorite pitchers growing up. He was so nasty. And I love the fact that Chris Carpenter, a guy who I learned a lot from with the Cardinals, who was originally a Blue Jay, learned a lot from Pat Henkin. Somehow I felt like we were in some sort of lineage tree, even though it wasn't a starter like those guys. But still, I thought that was, I don't know, always cool. Pat Henkin was somebody I looked at a lot in the New York Daily News or New York Post and the box scores growing up, and was like, man, this guy in Toronto is really freaking good. I don't really drink like that, Mike. I'm not really a drinker, but you know, occasionally a little wine or whatever. But yeah, water. Gotta hydrate. Someone go get Mike Timlin. So now we're just naming Blue Jays relief pitchers now. I love it. This is great. Stanton up here now. So Stanton's leading off this inning as the Yankees try to now seize this game. So we'll see what goes on. All right, this is a good natural moment here for me to take 1 second and step away. Varland's still in there, by the way. And just go get a drink of water. What's Vizcast? Yeah, so I'll just throw this up here for a second. And I'll just mute myself. And I'll go. And I'll get a drink of water and come right back. All right, I'm back. Looks like Stanton just punched out to lead off this inning. 90-mile-an-hour knuckle curve. I never really looked at this Vizcast. What do you think about this? Sorry, I had to go. I got really thirsty. I really did. Do you have to file retirement paperwork? I'm not retired. If somebody wants me to play for a really winning team and all that, will let me be on the squad, like I'll get it going again. But if that's not happening, then Do I have to file paperwork? Paperwork? I'm not a big paperwork guy. Got an E-form? Send me an E-form? Something like that. Anyway, bench coach. I mean, it's not even the job I really want. We all know I want what I really want, but bench coach, like I said, I could do it with my eyes closed. All right. This is true. Sometimes you throw a breaking ball and you're like, I don't believe you, bro. You're going to swing at it. Oh, Jazz just hit a sick home run. And an unbelievable pimp job, too. Jazz Chisholm. That was stupid sick. All right, let's see what it looks like on the Vizcast. Home run. Look at that. Look at that graphic. Ooh, win probability just shifted. 54% for the Yankees. 109.3. Let's watch it. Man, Varland's now gotten clipped hardcore twice. Jazz needed this. Let's watch the whole at bat. 90.4 mile an hour. Knuckle curve down. My official vote for AL MVP is Judge. I think it's awfully close, and I don't feel great about it. But I have settled on Judge because I just can't look past the 200 points of OPS. And also the valuing of the catching, although I think catching kind of breaks my heart to say this because I want a catcher to win MVP, but if I'm being objective about it, I am not sure how to value his defensive effort relative to the hitting disadvantage versus Judge. Anyway, dude, look at the pimp job here, by the way. I know I just interrupted myself during this moment, but watch this. I don't know if there's ever been anything smoother than that. Yeah. Also, look at our guy, Cam. Just watch Cam right here for a second. He doesn't even watch it. He just knows it's gone. He looks at Jazz. And he wants to do the airplane. You think that's him making fun of the Red Sox? I mean, come on. Dude, that pimp job is next level. Next freaking level. I can't wait to watch it on the broadcast cam. We got a commercial break in progress. Varland's out of there. 109.3 at 24, 409. I know that was the Sox thing this year. Maybe he really deep down wants to be a Red Sox. Has anybody thought of that? Probably not. But I'm just saying, he is from Walpole. Man, every angle of this pimp job is sick. Man, you know how good that probably felt? You know how electric that probably felt? Can we get a report from Yankee Stadium, anybody that's in there, about how the vibes are now and how they've turned around, perhaps, in Yankee Stadium? Jazz reminds me of Alfonso Soriano vibes. I loved Alfonso Soriano, one of my favorite players growing up. Used a big-ass bat and used to just war club balls. A lot of leadoff dingers. So sick. The Bronx is bumping all that energy right back in it. I mean, yeah. I mean, this is, if you really want to ignite light a fan base with a match underneath, is have them be a little disappointed for a few innings and then have an offensive explosion at the right time in a playoff game. That will do it. That will surely do it. Looks like Braden Fisher is coming in. Getting a little info on Braden Fisher. I have this. This is a baseball and coffee board that I had gotten made up. But what do you guys think of this? Is this cool at all? What do you guys think of that? I mean, my face isn't in it, but you get to just see like the screen a little more. I think maybe a touch bigger, maybe not. Hard to say. Braden Fisher is in the game right now. This guy's actually filthy. Ooh, and Rosario claps him first pitch. That's going to be a double with his wheels. Yep, easy double there. Oh, I got to go back to the main screen so I can see this question on screen. I don't know if you can speak to this. Sometimes pitchers who throw their fastball too much, even when they have a nasty breaking ball. Look, it's really hard when you've been gassing people up your whole life and that's your identity to switch it up all of a sudden and become an off-speed pitcher. But in reality, most of the time, it makes you better. Edwin Diaz's best season, 2022, he was over 50% slider. When Mason Miller ticked up his slider ability this year, you saw the run he went on. He's basically the best pitcher in the world. So the reality is, like, as good of a fastball as you may have, for the majority of pitchers, you're probably good throwing it about 50% of the time. Throwing it more than that simply gives the guys a better chance to get on it, typically. And, you know, off-speed pitches are really hard to hit. Statistics don't really lie on that. There's a big sample size on that, so that's kind of the way it is. Do we have any, no Mitch in here right now, so no update on the game vibes, but I bet they're pretty good. The Judge home run feels like a series-changing play. I mean, it clearly was, but now the Yankees have the lead 7-6. We'll watch that in a second. But I mean, it was. They were cooked. This chat was very negative. Earlier in the night. Very negative. So things have changed. All right, here's the MVP Cal talk thing. What accuses me in the Cal for MVP is people say he hits in a pitcher-friendly stadium, so it's more impressive. But say he improves his pitchers, but forget the Mariners' pitcher stats also improve. Yeah, I mean, it's a double-edged sword, of course. You know, the ballpark you play in, you know. But look, I think catcher is the most important position on a team. I've often said I'd rather have the best catcher in the game on my team than, like, the best player in the game. Like the best shortstop in the game or something like that. Now, it's not always the case, but I just think the best catcher in the game makes such an outsized impact that's hard to measure. Now, because it's hard to measure, I'm not going to go ahead and just assume that I know how to measure it. Like, I've seen how good Cal is. I know what pitching staff he's working with. I also know how talented those guys are. So it's a lot of alchemy in your brain, and you got to do a lot of mental gymnastics just to try to figure out the value. And at the end of the day, it's mostly just an estimation. But what's not an estimation is those hitting OPS numbers, and judges are just they're too good to ignore. They're too good to ignore. So, anyway. Well, it's 3-2. I'm not missing anything. Nothing's going on. Volpe just punched out on a high slider, so another guy on here. This has been the big question tonight because now it's looking more realistic. If Schlittler does pitch tomorrow versus the Jays, will he keep up success? You got to give him a good chance. I mean, his stuff was that great last time. But we'll see. Blue Jays beat him up that last time. Do you think there's one best breaking ball? Sweeper, gyro, curveball, etc. Best. Best is tough. Best is tough because they're each a trade-off. Like sweepers are usually less chase but better contact outcomes and less miss. And gyro sliders are usually more miss but worse contact outcomes generally. These are all generalities, but that's mostly what you see when you look at the data and you just watch the game enough. And then curveballs tend to be not as good to same-sided hitters, but they're pretty devastating overall. I'd say if you have a truly elite top of the scale curveball, that's probably trumps all three of those pitch types. That's my guess. One thought for the Jays is now they have to have a bullpen game tomorrow. Yeah, they might. They don't really have any other options. Looks like Yario Rodriguez, I've been waiting for him to pitch. He's on the roster, right? So we'll see how that goes. I can't believe it's only the 5th inning. I'm sitting here thinking, oh, I'm going to have a chance to watch the whole game on this stream, but it's the 5th inning? My God. Let's see what we got here. Get through. Base hit, Wells. Good swing there. Yankees have a shot to get another run here. Santander's got a good arm, but Rosario's there. Good run by no, that's not going to be right. Wells is going to be safe. Yankees now 8-6. I don't think that inning's going to be over. I think he's safe. Knuckleball. Mars saying just throw a knuckleball because that's the best pitch. Because if you throw a good one, you can throw it 90% of the time. But, I mean, I'm not saying it's like those breaking balls are the best pitches overall. I mean, it's starting to look like some of these splitters or kick changes might be the best pitches overall at the moment. I don't know. It's like it's all about variety of pitches and having more than one thing and knowing how to use it and how to tie it all together. Singular dominating pitches, the real ones, the real unicorns of the history of the game, I'd say last 20 years are really those ride cutters. Mario Rivera cutter, Kenley Jansen cutter, David Robertson cutter. Those are the three that really stand out in my head. Also, you could throw in Corbin Burns to some extent. It's not as ridey, but still. Those pitches are so unique. Hitters just don't perform well against them relative to every other pitch type, really. And they seem to last the test of time. Guys with that pitch didn't really have to add much more. Kenley Johnson, Mario Rivera didn't have to add much more. The only other guy I can think of that had a pitch that was truly that great was Zach Britton's sinker. And that was a little different, but that played almost like you Savage, like straight down in the ground. So, yeah. As a Mariners fan, I should vote Cal's MVP, but I'm a serious baseball fan. Aaron Judge is no doubt MVP. It's not close. I think it's close. See, that's the thing. The whole it's not close thing, I do think it's close. Cal Raleigh's had such a historic season overall. So it's close. But I just, yeah, that's where my vote would be right now. And again, I don't feel great about it. I don't feel great about it at all. What was the other one that I was really struggling with this year? NL MVP, Ohtani, American League MVP, Judge, American League Cy Young. I have Skubal. That was going down to the wire between Skubal and Crochet. National League Cy Young, I have Skeens. Rookies of the Year, I have Kurtz, and I have Drake Baldwin. Although Kate Horton was was one. Manager, I have no idea. That's hard to know. All right, what else we got? Per Jeff Passan, Judge now hitting 524, 583, 762 this postseason. Leads all players with 11 hits, even though this was his first homer. So maybe reports of his demise have been exaggerated. I think that's fair to say. Hader at one point was close to one dominant pitch, but he's thrown a lot more sliders. Let's actually go look at Hader's pitch mix. I know he hasn't pitched in a while, but this is a good thing just to check in on. I like this stuff. Meanwhile, Tim Hill's in there trying to get some outs here, get through the sixth. Still 12 outs to get for the Yankees here, so this game's also far for over on the other side with the way the Jays have been swinging it. So look at Josh Hader's pitch percentages over time. So like when he first burst on the scene, it was a lot of fastballs. Sinker 81.5% down here. Then the next year 79%, 84%. So first 3 years he's basically 80% or higher. 2020 still high, 67%. 2021 65%. 2022 69%. 2023 73%. 2024 71%. And then this year he's down to 54%. However, I do want to show you how he looped in more stuff over time. Like at one point the slider gets up to 32.3%. That was a big adjustment. So the slider became a bigger part of his game that it really wasn't at the very beginning, to the point where this year he's at 41.4%. So everybody kind of does it at some point. It just takes everybody a little different time to get there. Anywho. Damn it, where's the thing? Here it is. Hold on. One out. Tim Hill. I love when Tim Hill does his jump after every pitch. You guys like that? Yeah, Hader's fastball's an outlier. Sinker with true backspin on it. Very weird pitch, especially from his approach angle. I do remember that first year, like he was just obliterating everybody with fastballs up. I remember he had an inning against us in Colorado that was so dominant that it was like laughable. It was like laughably dominant, all fastballs. You know who I was thinking, speaking of all fastballs, I'm going to try to get Lance Lynn on the pod as well, on the show. It's not a pod, on the live stream as well, because he's another guy who basically did it with all fastballs for a lot of his career. Yeah, this isn't bad. You get to see a lot of stuff. Jacob's glove side fastball, to be super specific. Yeah. Jake has the best command, I would say, of any pitcher I've ever played with. So just so impressive, man. Tim Hill's just rolling. You know, it's funny because I talked to this guy like 2 weeks before the season ended. He was like all in on it, and then obviously it was a little bit of a rough ending. So I'm just trying to give the Mets guys that I talked to some space for a little time until everything kind of settles down and those guys get used to being home and get their heads cleared. But I got a few of those guys lined up, including this guy, who may or may not. You know, we'll see how the offseason goes. Will he be back? Will he not be back? That'll be interesting to see. Yep, Tim Hill. What a job. Let's go check in on Tim Hill and his delivery really quick because it's so fun. Look at Tim Hill from the side here. Watch the little jump move. And he does this after like every pitch though. He's got that elastic energy, dude. All right, check out the delivery in slow-mo. Let's see what we can break down. There's many ways to do this, people at home. Just drop straight into it. Kind of curls the front arm this way. And just slings it through. That's the whole move. And then the jump follow through is classic as well. Yeah, that's good. And then, what was I going to say? A couple more things to point out here. So that delivery is absurd, and I kind of love it. It's so unique. This is my guy right here, Carlos Febles. He was the manager of the Toros last year when I was on the Dominican team. I also had him as a base coach when I was with the Red Sox. We used to hang out like with our feet in the cold tub sometimes after the games and talk a lot. Great dude, Dominican dude, freaking great guy. So I want to shout out Febles right there. Awesome guy. Now he's with the Jays. So anyway, Tim Hill does his thing. He's always fun to watch. And the Yankees are in the driver's seat. 9 outs to go. 9 outs to go in the Wago. Let's see what we got here in the chat. Who's Tim Blake Nelson? Do I have to Google this person? Oh, you think this is Tim Hill? Interesting. Different, little different. I see where you're going. I see where you're going, but little different, I think. A little different. All right, what else we got? Man, Bartolo. That would be sick. I want to talk to him more about the behind the back flip to first base than the home run. That was like one of the smoothest plays that's ever been done. This will definitely happen. I'll get T.A. on for real. We lived together in spring training and rehabbing so at times. Yeah, longtime friend of mine. So we'll get Tyler Anderson on here for sure. I think he's a free agent this offseason. I think his contract's up with the Angels finally. And then Tim Hill reminds me of a lefty Steve Cishek. I actually listened to Steve today on Eric Cressy's podcast. Fascinating. One of the guys that I used to look up to, absolute gamer, grinder, pitched a lot. Like just always posted, always was good, did a lot of closing, jumped around to a lot of teams. I felt always like he was undervalued. So Steve Sheck, shout out to him. This was a question about Tim Hill's separation. No, he doesn't get any separation. He throws like 86. But, you know, it's not about that for him. It's just throwing a funky metric from a weird angle. Yeah, the Mario jump after every pitch. I guess that's what you would call it. Jared says the same thing. He's just banking gold coins. Bing, 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 bing. All right, 2-run lead here. Little is in now. Brendan Little for the Jays, and the Yankees at the top of the order. So they're going to try to get a few more runs here, get themselves a little breathing room. But, man, what a game this has been. What a turnaround. He's like a human rubber band talking about Tim Hill. Yeah, he is. He is. He's awesome. Braves player here, like Darren O'Day. Darren O'Day was a freaking legendary pitcher. Also, I heard he's one of the best leaders that ever came. Like, most clubhouses aren't led by relief pitchers. I heard he did that quite a bit in Baltimore. I mean, I played with Mookie on USA. We only chatted a little bit, and he does do his own podcast, so he likes doing stuff. Who knows? We'll see how this thing goes. Still can't believe Judge hit a home run off that pole. That was crazy. That swing, it's almost worth, yeah, it's worth looking back on. He's coming up right now. So we'll watch him again. And actually, Jared knows me very well here with this comment. Jimmy Key is one of my favorite pitchers growing up. Former Blue Jay, former Yankee, number 22. That would be crazy. Jimmy Key. I don't think we ever found the cam. But I do think now I can get another I can actually look at the broadcast view of this home run. By the way, he is 3 for 3 in this game. Here's the broadcast view of the home run off Varland.
On a 2-strike pitch. Hits a drive down the line. If it's fair, it's his moment. It is. It's tied.
It's just so far in. Judge. Dude, he just gets the barrel there so fast. Oop, Yankees are in business. Blue Jays fumbling everything. They're going to have second and third here with 1 out, it looks like. Yeah, Boyce. I pitched in the last WBC for USA. That was a total dream come true. I've been trying to play for them forever. Was never invited to the college, tryouts for the national team. I felt like I was one of the best relievers in the game. For that team that the year that they did win the WBC, I felt like I should have been considered for the roster. I wasn't. And then finally got on there this last time. And it was actually kind of great because I wasn't really like one of the top 3 guys. It was like Devin Williams, Bednar, and who else was it? Ryan Presley. And so I was like kind of just in my like pitching down run role. And I pitched in 2 games. I threw against Venezuela and Mexico. So it was fun. It was great. It was really cool to be on a team with all the superstars, and get to play with guys like Arenado, who I played with for a long time too. Like reconnecting, playing with those guys again was fun. So that was really cool. This is 2009 when I was on Team Italy. Yes, I did pitch against Team Venezuela for 3 innings. I started the game. It was young Ottavino, AA Ottavino versus Felix Hernandez. So a little bit of a mismatch. But I held my own. That was fun. That's story time someday. Let's see here. This should be a sac fly. Rice to pretty deep right. Judge coming home. So 3-run lead now. Big tack on run. Every run is big. Every run is big. It's funny. I have the USA jersey signed by the entire team. I just haven't framed it yet. I have a bunch of framed jerseys, but I don't really know where to put them. I had them all in my gym when I had my lab in Harlem, but now they're just in my attic, all framed. So I didn't. And believe it or not, framing that stuff costs a lot of money. So I have some others to get framed. I have a lot of good autographs. I actually have a Mookie Red Sox jersey autographed. I have a couple things that I need to get done, but I've just been lazy about it. Actually, I have a ton of autographed baseballs, and I've been thinking about doing giveaways with them because I don't really care to collect the autographed baseballs that much, and I have all the best people. So I could do some sick giveaways like Mike Trout, Albert Pujols, Ichiro. I mean, I have nasty signed balls. So Miguel Cabrera, we could do all sorts of giveaways as this show goes on. The jerseys are the stuff that I care about, and the other things that are sentimental, but the balls. I just got them all signed the year I had Tommy John. I just started getting things sent over to the visiting clubhouse. Pretty much anything, anybody that I thought was even remotely, like, I could think, if something clicked, they could be a Hall of Famer. I would get their autographs. So I have a lot of them. I have a whole bin up in the attic. I remember, and Jared's not loving this because he helped me organize them in my apartment years and years ago, like into the cases. But no, truthfully, I don't care about them. If there's some that you want, of course, Jared, we can siphon those off, of course. But yeah, I think it would be cool for everybody. So we're gonna start doing that. Oh, here comes Yariel finally. So I guess tomorrow is going to be a bullpen day, but they're firing him now. So will it be a bullpen day, or will they go some sort of other route? This really opens the door for the Yankee comeback a little bit, obviously. I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out that if they win game 1, they got a better shot than if they lose and get swept. Duh. But Schlittler tomorrow, they probably have the pitching advantage, you would think. And then if they win that game, anything can happen in game 5. So don't get tight. Oh, I definitely have, first of all, I have both of these guys signed jerseys, personalized jerseys, so sick. But balls, I don't know if, I think I have them. I probably have a DeGrom and a Sugar. This is also a good question. How does that work when players request signatures from other players during the season? What's the process? So typically, you get whatever item you want to get signed and you have it sent over to the visiting side. Now, this can be a little delicate. Some guys just do it with no explanation. So, like, a clubby will come up to you in the middle of the day and he'll just be like, "Can you sign these balls?" And you'll be like, "Who are they for?" And they'll be like, "Oh, it's for these guys on the other team," or whatever. And most guys don't care. But like the superstar players get asked by everybody. Like when I played with Pujols, he was getting asked literally like every day to sign like boxes and boxes of stuff. And I've seen it with Judge and with, lots of big time players that I played with. So you always want to be a little careful. It's also cute and really nice when people write like handwritten notes, like you're like, "I really look up to you," like blah, blah, blah. "I think you're great." Like I've seen people write really nice stuff to Scherzer, and Scherzer used to love to write funny inscriptions on people's stuff. Whereas other people, it's harder. They don't really know what to say. The whole like writing an inscription on somebody's jersey is always a little interesting. Like, what are you going to say? Like, not everybody has the personality to like write something cool. But in the past, I've seen some funny ones like Manny Ramirez signing him to pitchers like, "Please throw me a fastball, Manny Ramirez," stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of how it works. You just kind of ask. Or if you really have the balls to do it, you can just go up to them and basically, in the outfield or something in BP and see if it's cool if like maybe you exchange a bat or you get a glove or something from them. People are usually pretty accommodating for the most part. There's not a lot of people that give you no's. So anyway, this is how it's talking. This is how we're talking. This is a good question too. Now that they saw you Savage, should they have a better chance in game 5? Yes. Will it be a good enough chance? Don't know, because he looked pretty good and I think he can execute that game plan again. But yes, certainly the chance will be better because they've seen him before. And obviously they didn't do nothing the first game, so makes sense. That sounds pretty good. What else we got here? Is it true that players won't sign balls or jersey if the color of the pen is a certain color? I've been reading about it for years. Yeah, some people are weird about the color stuff. Also, players don't typically like to get hounded at the hotel or out in public, and they don't typically like to sign things that gets delivered to their personal address. But people usually have no problem signing stuff at the field that gets mailed there. Or, I mean, there's other times where it makes sense, but sometimes the hotel can be a little weird. People can get pretty aggressive. I've seen some aggressive behavior. I don't know. It's just tough. I get it. The fans want the autographs, but I don't know. It's just like a weird scenario sometimes. Like you're walking around a city and people are like following you. Definitely seen that a few times. The color of the pen, to get back to this question, I don't really understand a lot of that. I know that a lot of collectors like blue for whatever reason. I've signed a lot of stuff with blue. So I don't know. Oh, this is messed up. You're breaking my heart. But yeah, I always used to think about that. Like when they would do the crowd grab bags at the games, and like, my autograph would be mixed in there with like Judge and Stanton and CC Sabathia or something, and then somebody would get Ottavino. They were probably like, "Oh man, that's not great." I've never talked to Manny. I've actually faced Manny Ramirez though a few times, Ray, but never talked to him. I would love to talk to him about youth service. That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. What else we got here? That ump cam is insane. Everybody keeps saying that. I want to see the ump cam. Dang. Nah, I faced Manny when I pitched for Northeastern against the Red Sox in spring training. College game. All right, so now Devin Williams is in there. They have 9 outs to get. Do you think it'll be just Williams and Bednar to get these 9 outs, or will another player come in here? Ooh, did you check the pitches after the Judge homer? No. Let's do that. Who was up right after him? Bellinger? Oh, we got it. Dude. This is great. Dude. Ball spanked. This is such a good view. We finally got it.
To the air, if you keep giving him chances.
It's unbelievable how he got to this ball.
Advantage of the air, if you keep giving him chances.
That's 100 miles an hour too, by the way. So that was really cool. Good call, Spectre, by the way. You're always fixing what I got going on. Nice job. All right, so we get one out here. Jazz and Volpe bumped heads, but they get the out. From MLB chat, are the Phillies cooked? My gut tells me yes. I think it's not about the Phillies as much as it is the Dodgers. The Dodgers are really lined up well. Yamamoto, who's arguably been the best pitcher in the game over his last 6 or 7 starts, is starting in this LA game, and they're pitching Nola, who has not been as effective this year. So I expect the Dodgers to probably sweep here. They just seem a little overwhelmingly good at this point. I saw this question in the chat here that I'm about to put. Who's the funniest guy you're ever with in the bullpen? And, of course, Jared immediately says it's got to be Canely. And certainly Canely comes to mind right away as probably the most unique character I've ever been with out there. He is a wild animal, and I love him. But I would also say, it's interesting, not a pitcher, but I played, there was a guy who was a catcher with us, and he was out there a lot with us in 21 with the Red Sox, Jet Bandy. Jet Bandy. He was on the Brewers and a bunch of other teams, has some big league time. He was hilarious. I actually had to get away from Jet Bandy in the bullpen after like the 4th or 5th inning of games because I could not focus with him around. Could literally not focus with him around. But Tommy's just Tommy. I loved it and I was used to it. I had Tommy as a rookie and everything in Colorado, so I've seen every bit of Tommy. But man, Jet Bandy was hilarious. I'm trying to think who else. Honestly, a lot of guys. Carlos Torres is one of my favorite teammates of all time out there. Who's a guy a lot of people might not know. I played with him on the Rockies. He was also on the Mets for a while, kind of a rubber-armed reliever. Who else? It's a good question. Funniest guys in the bullpen. Tommy just stands out so much because he's so unique. The energy is so WWF, WWE. It's just different. Oof, the changeup that Williams throws is so crazy. It is nasty right now. What a stream so far. This has been awesome. Thank you. Yeah. Ooh, I think Kirk might have just got a dinger. No, Grisham made it look easy. He catches it. He fooled me, Grisham. He was drifting after it so slow, I thought it was gone. Thank you. Sorry, yeah, just missed it. I'm trying to think, man. Other funny people. It's a constant riot act down there. Shit, I was with Trevor May. You guys saw me talking with him yesterday. He was pretty funny. He was pretty great. In your prime, if you had the chance to face any player through history in their prime, who would it be and why? Well, this is a pretty loaded question, MLB, because everybody's going to expect me to say Babe Ruth so I can back up my old comments. Probably not the case, though. I would love to go after Barry Bonds. I'd probably lose, but I would love to just see it and feel the presence in the box. Maybe like a Frank Thomas would be fun. I feel like I'd have a chance at that. Big righty, but I mean, that would be fun just to feel the Aaron Judge size of a guy like that. But yeah, it's MLB. You guys trolling me right now with this comment, trying to get me to talk some Babe Ruth nonsense. But yeah, Barry Bonds would have been a good guy to face. I never got to face Jeter either, which always bugged me because he was hurt when we played the Yankees while I was active same time as him. Yeah, Bonds is taking me to the Cove. 100%. I have no advantage over Barry Bonds, and I know it, and it's not even close. We have some good questions, though. Did I ever face Pujols? Yes, he's in the book. I think I've struck him out a few times. Hi, Lev Dev. Throwing 97 tonight. Look at that, 97 up top. Gets the job done. Yankees 6 outs away from extending the series, so that's important. I don't know. I was very triggered there, MLB. I was very triggered, you guys. I think I would have schooled Jeet. Nah, Jeet's got that inside-out swing. He would have got a little single to right field, and it would have been annoying. I don't know. I faced all the best of the best while I was playing, right? Like Miguel Cabrera, got strikeouts on him. You know, Mike Trout, got a strikeout on him. Ohtani got one on him. McCutchen, Mookie, Freddie, Schwarber, Harper. I'm trying to think. Judge, Stanton, Ichiro, Chipper Jones I faced. So I don't know. It's just like you play long enough, you face all these dudes. And it's just crazy. It's actually surreal when they're like the big time guys like a Pujols. Pujols in the box, like he gets in there with his stance and he just like sets it. And you're just like, oh shit, that's Albert Pujols. And then you try not to look at him because you got a job to do, you know? AO, does the concept of pitchers not having that much control over BABIP? I know fly ball hurlers have lower ones, seem pretty strange. All right, so first of all, I believe that you can control your contact. Not 100%. Of course, there's a lot out of your control in baseball, but I do think the style that you pitch, the choices that you make, the way you go about it definitely influences your batted ball tendencies. I know this because I manipulated my batted ball tendencies over my career, and at times I could be more of a ground ball pitcher oriented than I needed to be, than what I wanted to be, and I knew how to get weak pop ups which are even better than ground balls. Weak pop ups are almost always outs. So I do think, depending on your style, you can regularly have pretty good batting average balls and plays against you statistically if you optimize for that and you're really smart about it. So I've always believed that pitchers can control their contact. It makes too much sense because otherwise the only pitchers who would ever have had history in big leagues would just be strikeout guys only, and we all know that that's not the case. Now, is it a little less sustainable? Yeah, sure, because batted ball luck is there's still some luck, but you have to be able to find your outs in different ways and understand how to get them. That's a big part of what learning about pitching is really all about, because if you want to get to 2 strikes, you're going to have to take the risk of guys putting the ball in play, and if they're going to put the ball in play, you want to be able to control that to some extent so you're not giving up damage all over the place. Pujols at bat versus me? Yeah, there's someone here somewhere. Let me go. Let's at least pull up my career splits if you guys want to see some Ottavino stats versus hitters. We can do that for a second, and then from there I can maybe at least get the date, and then I can maybe find the at bat if it's on the thing. We need versus batters. Mauer, no strikeout. Although I got screwed against Joe Mauer in a spring training one time by Joe West. Not the last time, but like I threw a couple pitches right down the middle of Joe Mauer and didn't call him strikes. It was a spring training game, but I was just like, come on, man. Oh yeah, I have Ortiz in the book too in the big leagues. Struck out on a fastball down. I should charge my other iPad up and then I could put it on here. because I have every career strikeout on my other iPad. So that's always fun. This is the list right here. Most at-bats ever versus Paul Goldschmidt. And I'm trying to rope Goldie into doing a video with me where we watch every one of these at-bats and we think about our matchup over the years. I think that would be really, really fun. As you can see, there's a lot of NL West opponents here. I wonder if there's a way to look at, like, by age or something. Probably not. Ottavino Puig, we'll leave that behind us. Yeah. Did I ever face A-Rod? No. I wish. Posey I kind of owned. I know you see these stats up here. 182 versus Ottavino. So Goldie's a good dude. He is. Very, very good dude. All right, back to the... Oh, you know what's another domination right here? Ryan Zimmerman. 10 plate appearances, 9 at-bats, 1 hit, and it was lost. It was literally lost in the lights. It should have been an out. It should have been 0 for 10. 1 walk with 6 strikeouts. So, anyway. By batting average, oof, who raked me the best? Here's the thousands. Wait, hold on. Is there anybody with a bunch of plate appearances that's hitting 1,000? Jose Trevino, 2 for 2. What's the best average with somebody with a lot of at-bats? Everth Cabrera, 4 for 5. Jose Abreu, 3 for 4. This is another one that stood out early in my career. Carlos Beltran, 2 for 3. Robinson Cano, 2 for 3. Yeah, a bunch of guys 2 for 3s. Here's a guy with 7 hits off of me. Starlin Castro, 7 for 12. Kill me. Who do I have the most strikeouts against? Paul Goldschmidt, 13. Will Myers, 7. Lourdes Gurriel, 7. I think I have Vlad Jr. a little bit here. Yeah, Vlad, 4. Anyway, now we're just in the weeds. We didn't come here to watch this. We didn't come here to watch this. Got to do a video, watch all your career ABs. There's not a lot of them. And most of them are friggin' brutal. Hold on. Bottom of the 7th. This game is absolutely dragging. Jazz just swung so hard that his helmet fell off. Chris Taylor. He clipped me for a walk-off home run, and I'm pretty sure he knew what was coming. It was a weird pitch. Yeah, Bo Bichette, I've done pretty good against. That's for sure. Yeah. Yeah, one-word answer for that. Yeah. Yeah. So he flies out. This has been a crazy game. 9-6 when it was 6-1. 8 unanswered runs for the Yankees. They've shown a lot of fight in this game. You got to be proud of the fight they've shown in this game. Oh, I'm pretty sure that the Dodgers knew what was coming for a little while when I was pitching 2017, 2018. I'm pretty sure. I don't have a lot of this was the question. I don't necessarily know how, but it felt very obvious sometimes that they would swing at pitches that other people wouldn't swing at against me. Dan Herron. Dan Herron hit 2 doubles off me in my 3rd and final career start. I'll never forget them telling me that he was a good hitter before the game. And sure enough, it played out. He raked 2 balls in the gap. Nasty. Man, people, you really want to ask me a lot of questions about how they knew what was coming. This was the era of spy versus spy. Lots of stuff was going on. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but all I can tell you is we were always very paranoid in this time period. Everybody was paranoid in this time period. And sometimes you would hear noises. Sometimes there was just swings that were peculiar. And I remember when Chris Taylor homered off me, it was a slider up and in. nowhere near a pitch that anybody would ever swing at me. I think I went and looked at the swing rate on pitches in that area off me in my career, and it was like 0. So I was like, okay, like it's just either a crazy accident or he was looking for it. So anyway, that's just sometimes you just don't know why things happen. You try to come up with reasons, try to figure it out. How do you think the Yankees will get the last 6 outs? Yeah, so I think they're gonna split it up here a little bit. I think Devin's gonna go back out initially, and then they'll probably go Bednar for at least 4, well, maybe 5. Yeah. But then they both got to pitch tomorrow. So this is like potentially. I don't think they're going to pitch Weaver. I don't. I don't. But I could be wrong. We'll see. We'll see how Booney plays it. Yeah, see, this is what I'm thinking is Lauer could play a big role in tomorrow's game for the Jays if the Yankees hold on. Gausman on 3 days rest. And then you'll have your Savage on normal rest for game 5. I guess you could do it if Gausman's up for it. Yeah, maybe they're going to go that direction. Say, I thought Yariel Rodriguez was going to get held back in this game a little bit too, but maybe not. Volpe's out. What was the feeling about becoming a reliever after that last pro start? What was the conversation like? Okay, so I'll give you a little background on my situation. So, drafted first round Cardinals. Immediately they changed everything I was doing. They wanted me to basically, this is the way player development used to work back in the day. It was whoever our best pitcher is. In this case, it was like Carpenter and Wainwright. We want to make everybody like these guys. So the idea was for me to throw a lot of sinkers down in the zone, pitch to contact, go deep into games, have a more of a downward breaking slider, get my arm angle up a little higher. But, that's not the way I pitch. I'm a crossfire, low slot type of guy. Also at this point, so they changed everything I was doing. I got all screwed up in the minor leagues. And finally, after a long period of time, I kind of came out of that, started pitching well in AAA for the first time in my career, but I was using the mechanics that they wanted me to use. I was going straight forward to the plate. One day I'll show you my delivery from my debut. It's nothing like the way I threw the rest of my career. And my mix was different. My slider was different. It wasn't the way I pitched my whole career coming up. So at this point, I was just frustrated. I wasn't feeling like myself anymore. I could be honest with myself. I looked around. I saw Lance Lynn, Jaime Garcia, Clayton Mortensen. I saw Carlos Martinez coming. I saw Trevor Rosenthal coming, Shelby Miller, Joe Kelly, all the guys that the Cardinals already had on the big league staff. Lance Lynn, Chris Carpenter, Adam Wainwright, Jeff Suppan, Kyle Loesch, Jake Westbrook, Mitchell Boggs. I mean, they had pitchers on pitchers on pitchers on pitchers on pitchers, and I was just being real. I wasn't as good as those guys. So, and I wanted to go back to my style, and I also honestly wanted to go to the bullpen because my statistics in AAA for the couple of years I was there was tons of strikeouts, tons of walks. When the team would put all the lefties up against me, I struggled. I felt like I tried to pitch to contact, but my game was more strikeouts at that point, and I didn't really know how to adapt yet. So I kind of begged to go to the bullpen in a way. And they almost let me go with the Cardinals. They tried me in a relief role in spring training of 2012, which was my last stint with the Cardinals, and I actually had a great spring. I think I threw like 12 or 13 innings, 2 runs, struck out a bunch of guys, almost made the team, got cut, ended up getting DFA'd like 3 days later. That's when I got claimed by the Rockies. And when I talked on the phone to, at the time, the assistant GM, Jeff Bridich, who later became my GM with the Rockies, the first question I had for him is like, so am I starting or relieving? And he says, we're going to stick reliever at this point and see if you take to that. And that was the rest is history after that. I went to AAA. I pitched like 15 games, got called up, pitched the rest of the season, and never went back to the minor leagues. Just reliever, and it really just fit me. I got to have better matchups. I got to go right to the slider. And of course, later in my career, I was like, damn, I was too good to just be a relief pitcher. I should have been a starter. But to be honest, I blew my chance early by not adapting fast enough and not learning the lessons I needed to early enough to become a great starter. And then I just honed in on what I needed to do and mastered, the job of staying healthy in the bullpen. So that's kind of my story in terms of starting and relieving. I kind of actually did drive the conversation a little bit. All right, so Devin Williams is in the game. That makes sense. Yeah. All those people I just name dropped on the Cardinals, and there's others. But at one point, they had some serious pitchers coming through that system. I mean, there's even more. It was just one after another, guys that impacted the big league team. You know, eventually Waka came through there too. It was just a lot. Wow, some James Houlihan's feeling confidencia in this game. Says put Weaver out there. Bold strategy, Cotton. Oh, Blue Jays got a hit. Ernie Clement leadoff hit. I think they're both important. I don't know about more important. I think just pitching is just, I don't know. It's like you have to have so many pitchers. So it's like you have to have a larger amount of good pitchers. In the position player world, you can have a guy literally hold down a position for a decade on your team. So it's a little different, But pitchers, you got to rotate through them. So even if you have a starter on your team for 10 years, you got to fill out all those other spots. So it's just different. I think Carlos Martinez had a lot of injury problems. I think he had a lot of other problems and ultimately wasn't able to remain as electric as he started. So it's tough, though. The game is so hard. It demands so much of you to stay at your high level. It's a good battle right now between Williams and Santander going on. This is a hilarious statement. Did I tinker with any new pitches during that time period that I didn't take to? I've thrown everything. I've thrown everything. I've thrown everything. I've tried every single thing. I ended up being the way I was because ultimately it was the best way for me to throw a ball was with a lower slot, low 3/4 slot. I stayed healthy that way. I was more deceptive that way. And truthfully, I think deception is something that's so underrated in pitching because it's like, the other stuff is so measurable, but the deception part is like so unique to you. Like nobody can present exactly the same way you do to the batter. So I always thought that was a huge part of my success in Colorado. It's like the one thing that you can't really quantify. It's just like an uncomfortable at bat. Try to be uncomfortable as a pitcher. I think that works really well, and that was kind of my thing. Of course, I tinkered though with a million new pitches. Like, of course, always trying to be better each day than I was the day before. It was hard. Man, up in. So this question about biomechanics kind of lines up a little bit with what I was just talking about, though. Like if you want to be unique, like a Savage, or you want to throw, low 3/4 like I did, or you want to have deception as part of your game, and maybe that doesn't link up perfectly with biomechanics either. Like this idea of being super efficient in your mechanics generally tends to lead guys to be a little bit more flowy and easier to see in a way and less deceptive. So I think that I just think that, yeah, like optimizing your biomechanics to like, what are you optimizing for? Just to throw as hard as you can and theoretically put less stress on your body. But at the same time, like pitching is so much about angles and deception at the same time and being unique and being uncomfortable and all those types of things. So yeah, everything's a give and a take in this game. So that's why I never chased perfect mechanics all the time, because I understood that my deception was a big part of my success. I don't think there's any absolutes in the draft, even hitters. I mean, the truth is, I don't care what you did in college. Go look at a guy like Zach Cox, or go look at Dustin Ackley, or go look at, there's a lot of guys. Warner Jones back in the day. I mean, there's guys that were college batting champions who, when it gets to the highest level, they just can't hit. It's different. So, again, like I don't think anything fully translates. You just don't know until you're in the big leagues. There's no other level quite like it. I don't even care what you do in AAA. We're seeing it now. Like Jonah Tong struck out 14 guys per 9 in AA this year, whatever, AA, AAA, single A, goes to the big leagues, and like you see the ability, but the results are a little bit different because it's the major leagues. So until you figure out the major leagues, it's so hard to project a guy. Of course, that's why you have tools, and you look at tools and you look at players' ability to improve themselves and get better and have a growth mindset, and those things are all things that you add together when you're betting on a player. But yeah, there's no absolutes. Statistical track record helps, certainly, and it's usually more predictive of success, especially at a high level college, university, or throughout the minors. But there's no guarantees because the big leagues is just different. It's just different. So this is the Cubs. This was the Cubs drafting philosophy, and I do think this conversation extends a little more into free agency. Now, David Stearns, for example, and I actually don't disagree totally with this strategy overall. In terms of when you have to actually pay the big money, it does make a little more sense in a way to pay the position players and then try to figure out the pitchers from there, because I actually think because the pitchers are in control of the action, you can look at a pitcher's stuff model and like the stuff that spits out in the model and his results in the minor leagues, and you can reasonably project that if he throws the ball over the plate in the big leagues, you're going to have some degree of success based on the measurables, right? Hitting, it's different because hitting is reactive. You're not starting the action. You have to come up and face the pitchers that are starting the action. So even when you're an immense talent like Roman Anthony, there's a little bit of a learning curve. How are these guys attacking me? What's the level really like up here? Whereas when you're the pitcher, you're setting the level on your end. So it's a little different. That's why I think the conversation, not just in the draft, but also in free agency, is a little bit more like, yeah, maybe there is a little bit more certainty with hitters, but I think that certainty reveals itself to be actual certainty more in the big leagues. I don't think you ever have true certainty in the minor leagues. I think that can be a fugazi. And definitely in college, like some of the guys I named earlier who did not turn out as good as they were supposed to be. This is the classic Coors Field Ottavino question. Again, I think my deception was a big deal. I think I wasn't scared of it. I think I wanted to be there. I think I embraced it. I never moped about it. I also think I did a really good job adjusting sea level back to mile high and vice versa. I always took the altitude seriously and understood it more and wasn't in denial about it like a lot of guys. I also think because I have big movement on my pitches, I was still able to have decent movement even at altitude, because even when you delete some of my movement, there's movement there. I also think in a way it kept me more in the strike zone because I had less big movement, so I could funnel my pitches a little easier into the zone and get in better counts. And like I've been talking about for 3 months now, the count is the game. So getting in better counts was a big key. In addition to that, sometimes my slider would kind of stay up in Coors, so maybe at sea level I would have made a mistake and spun it down the middle into the death zone. But in Coors it would kind of stay up above the barrel. And I remember talking to Carlos Lee, if you guys remember that name. He was on the Astros, struck him out a few times. I was fortunate enough to get to first base one time. I think I walked, some pitcher walked me. Got to first base. Carlos Lee said, "Poppy, you're nasty." And I said, "Poppy, I threw you a slider right down the middle. I thought you were going to kill that pitch." And he goes, "I know, me too. But, I go to swing at it, and it was whatever you did there, you keep doing that because that's a tough pitch to hit." So I was like, okay, if Carlos Lee says it must be true. And that gave me a lot more confidence to throw my slider over the plate. And then from there, I learned about how to read swings, and I just got better from there. That's another aspect in Coors that's underrated, is the actual knowing how to pitch is even more of a big deal, because you can't just outstuff people at Coors like you can other places. So you better learn sequencing, reading swings, have command, and have an idea out there. And I felt like I had that. So I hope that answered that question. Yankees are now 3 outs away. Bednar did come in for the 2 outs, so he's going for the 5 out finish here. But he did a nice job. And really, Devin Williams and Bednar have been a nice combo for the Yankees here at the end of the year. Devin Williams ends up going 1 1/3, 2 strikeouts. Did I pitch in the PCL? I got my friggin' rear end kicked in the PCL. Bunch of years. Really hard place to pitch. but prepared me. You want to be challenged. You don't know it at the time, and there's a lot of pain, giving up runs and feeling like you're going to be a bust and all that type of stuff. But ultimately, this all prepared me for bigger challenges down the road. There's a lot of good talk in here. There's a lot of good talk in the chat about draft philosophy and all these type of stuff, and I love that. I love that we are nerdy enough on that we are, in this chat to for you guys to communicate with each other. Dustin Ackley was a boss in high school and in college, one of the greatest hitters in the history of North Carolina, maybe the best. All right, what else we got? This is a little insight from Mitch when he was working with the Cubbies. What's tough is you have to hit on your first round picks. The average amount of career WAR drops off significantly after the first round. If you missed on a first rounder, you're out of a job quickly, and that's true. And it's also huge variance even within the first round. Like sometimes I look at my draft, which I can show you right now. This one right here. This is the 2006 first round. And if you go by WAR, career WAR, there was huge value in this draft in Kershaw, Scherzer, Longoria in particular. So those guys were all picked in the top 11, but it's not like they were picks number 1, 2, and 3. Scherzer was the 11th pick. Kershaw was the 7th pick. Other people had a chance to draft these dudes, and they're all potentially Hall of Famer level of WAR. And even on top of that, if you go a little lower, Lincecum with 19.5 WAR. And if you go to the second round, there's also some dudes who had big WAR in the second round. John Jay, 12.8 WAR. Trevor Cahill was a really good player. Brett Anderson, Justin Masterson. What else we got? But you see it becomes less and less prevalent after that first round that you're going to get that transcendent talent. So I think that's important to point out. Here's Zach Britton, third round, 14 WAR. How do you not tip pitches? You have to constantly close down all your potential tips. There's a whole checklist of things, but the big thing is don't do anything on your move from. I guess I got to go back to the solo shot. Don't do anything on your move from hand to glove that's any different on any pitch, and don't give anything away by I move sometimes on one pitch or not enough on another pitch. Don't give anything away with wrist angles, heights of glove, width of glove. Don't do anything weird with your breathing or with your. There's a million ways to tip. Honestly, I can't even list them all. There's so many. So you constantly have to just monitor yourself and figure out if they have anything on you and how quickly. You have to really have self-awareness, and it helps if the team is helping you with that. I think this has been shifting for a while, but undeniable that the Houston Astros big time run there was fueled by the draft. Correa, Bregman, Lance McCullers, a lot of guys through the draft. George Springer. So a lot of their core players were all through the draft. That was a good example. Cubs as well. That initial run through. Bryant, Schwarber. Obviously, they traded for Rizzo. But Addison Russell, I think, was a trade as well. So it's a little mixture of both, but developing that prospect base that hits at the same time is huge. And when I was coming up, the Cardinals were one of those teams actually, which is crazy because they was picked at the end of the first round. I think that, yes, first rounders are given more rope, of course, because they have something invested in them. But I also do believe that generally they're the most talented players, at least physically, from a tool package standpoint, which if you're going to have an elite level of WAR in the big leagues, in the dog-eat-dog world of the big leagues, it's pretty damn important and pretty damn critical for you to have a tool package that allows you to have a really high ceiling if you hit on your skill side of things. So it's like, other people could be as good a hitter as Aaron Judge, but they don't have his tool package, like his power ability, they're never going to put forth the same level of results as a guy like him. So that's why you ultimately are drafting for tools, and then also for the human being. That's an important factor too, to see if they'll hit there. But the ceiling is often set by the physical ability, and then the ability to reach said ceiling is really all about the person. I mean, a lot of people have had good runs, and teams have gotten better. I actually do think that they're hitting more on the high picks than they used to. Grisham just gives the ball a good ride out to left. I think I'm going to stick here. I'm going to try to, this is a long stream. This is my longest stream ever probably, but I'm going to try to stick it out till the end of this game, unless it's too long. I don't know. We'll see. How many people we got in here? We got 45 in the chat right now. And then over on the MLB side, I think we're doing pretty good. Let me check the restream numbers right now. Let's see where we're at. We have 608 total eyeballs on us. That's outstanding. Outstanding today, all around. Thank you guys for hanging with me tonight. This has been awesome. Yeah, I mean, player development is huge too. Huge, massive. Getting better as you go, preparing them for the big leagues. These are all, it's all important. You can't underestimate any of these aspects. So here's a question with Travis Bazzana with a surprise 1-1. Eli Willits, what's the difference? Well, Bazzana has the college track record. Willits has a different type of track record. Willits is a high school draft pick, but his father was Reggie Willits, who played in the big leagues, coached with the Yankees for a long time. Also as a coach at the University of Oklahoma, I believe, and Eli was playing up with those guys for a few years. So even though he was younger, there was a little bit more information on him in terms of his ability to handle playing at a competition level above his above his age. But he did a really good job with that, showed a high level of maturity, seems to have also a high floor. Now, this is something that a lot of people would disagree with me about, but in free agency, I tend to like to pay a little more for the high floor because I don't like as much of the risk with a high risk, high reward type of guy in free agency when the money gets bigger. And now in the draft, I'd be willing to take a little bigger swing at times if I'm betting on the right personality. But anyway, with this comparison, it's just a different level of track record. Bazzana, obviously, even though he's from Australia, played at Oregon State, and a lot of people got a lot of eyes on him, whereas Willits hasn't faced, I mean, he's faced competition above his age grade, but he hasn't faced necessarily the competition that makes you super sure about his hitting yet. So you're drafting him more on overall total game. That's how these high school shortstops get drafted. It's total athleticism. It's the ability to pivot off shortstop if they need to typically have plus speed, plus arms, plus contact ability. I think Eli has all of that. And on top of that, obviously it's a cheat code when your dad was in the big leagues and coached in the big leagues for a long time and can kind of feed you the right information as you go along. Yeah, this game has been just absolutely dragging. 2 outs, 2 strikes away from getting Devin out there and potentially closing this thing out and giving us another game tomorrow. Caballero's got like a wrist thing. They're talking to him at the plate. Why not Holiday go if that's the case? So there was a little bit of concern about Holiday that he's got way more pop, but that there was a lot of swing and miss in his game, even at the lower level this year. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Ethan Holiday is gonna figure it out and get to the big leagues and be a good hitter. I don't think he has a lower floor. I mean, I don't think he has a higher floor. I think he has a lower floor. So I think that's a good comment by Daniel Brown. Ethan Holiday, I think, if you're looking in scouting terms, probably a lower floor, more potential for big power, but also Willits' offensive approach is probably going to give him a better shot at contact ability. That seems pretty obvious from now. Also, the ability to probably be a better defender. Ethan's a little big for shortstop. He's probably going to move off shortstop at some point, would be my guess. It's wild how any prospect ended up getting good 20 years ago when teams' idea of player development is don't cry. Yeah, there was just a lot of like guys just figuring it out on their own. But again, it was just a different level of competition. It's just different now. Well, now that everybody is optimizing, you know, it's just a different level. It's just all different. So yeah, this is Connor Griffin, who is an example. Connor Griffin quieted a lot of critics this year by being the number one prospect in baseball and going absolutely off in the minor leagues, all these stops. He was a guy who was considered to have a little bit of a high ceiling, high variance possibility there. But I think the thing that they underestimated with Connor Griffin is just how special an athlete he is. And also his swing is not really, there's not a lot of moving parts in it. When you watch Connor Griffin swing, and we'll probably check it when we look at prospects this winter, very simple swing. And you know, I definitely believe on that. I don't know if there is one more holiday boy. I know there's a holiday girl, but I'm not sure. Anyway, here we go. Bednar coming in to finish this thing out. Where are we on the time bot here? Still just waiting here. Obviously a nod. Didn't this guy still get drafted by the Mets pretty high? I think Glaber had the kind of the gift and the curse of being the number one prospect in baseball. I think there was a lot expected with him, and if let's be honest, his body type never really developed into that monster type player, and I think he did need to become more of a all around contact hitter, which was always in his skill set. But I think, especially the era that he came up with the Yankees, there was a lot of emphasis on the home run at that time. 2019, the juice season, Glaber had a huge year with the home runs, right? 2019. How many did he hit for us this year? Yeah, 38 home runs as a 22-year-old. So, you know, I get it. They were leaning into a moment in time there. Obviously, that ability kind of faded and the game kind of switched up on him pretty quick. And I like the way he's now a little more of a balanced approach up there. A lot of plays to the lot of right field singles, you know, but sometimes that's what you got to do at times. So it's a little interesting. I mean, this is a typical criticism of young Ethan Holiday, but I would caution that this is a family that has a batting cage at their house, and he's going to be hitting enough to figure a lot of this stuff out over time. So right now, I agree the swing's a little long, but I think that will get cleaned up. Yeah, and then Alvey was the number one prospect in baseball at one point, and to me that makes sense. He's got raw ability coming out of his eyeballs, from his raw strength to his throwing ability to his power, even probably at times his hitting ability. But I think it just shows you the big league grind is a little bit different. He's got a lot on his plate. He's had a lot of injuries. So he's shown flashes, but it's been tough to be consistent so far. Hall of pretty good status. I mean, I've seen these things on the social media, but I don't know a whole lot about it. I feel like I'd be pretty well qualified, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I've seen some people that I feel like I'm similar players with get good positive information on that. Ooh, Bednar just dismisses Springer with a split. All right, so we haven't watched any baseball in a while. Let's watch the Devin Williams strikeout pitches at least. Here's Varsho. Gonna get him a 97-1. So this was different this game. He had probably the best velocity of his season tonight. 97-1 up there. Then Santander he's gonna get with a fastball as well. So both punch outs, surprisingly, not with changeups. This one down the middle, straight up blows him away. Man, really, really nice. Bednar just got George with this splitter. So, hey, another splitter being effective. Nasty. Man, the Yankees really flipped this game. Now the camera's on Schlittler. Obviously, it's all on him now. Wow, Bednar just threw a ball way up and in on Lucas. I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but that was scary. That was right at the head. You need under 35 WAR and no MVPs, then I'm good. I have 15 career WAR. We're good. Yeah, that was scary, that last pitch to Lucas. I'll show that as soon as this at-bat's over. 1-2 count. They're showing you Savage, too. There's a lot of drama brewing in this series. I gotta say, I really like it. A lot of drama brewing in this series. Can the Yankees flip the script here? Because I do think the winner of this series got a good shot against Seattle if it's them or Detroit. Seattle's got the pitching, but it's going to be interesting. Yep. Mar, that's the real splitter, not the knuckle split. Yep, look at that. Look at the spin rate, first of all. 1695, that checks out. That's stuff we've been talking about. And it's 93, so it's way different than the... it's way different than the than those forkballs that we've been watching. You know, Sasaki and Logan Gilbert earlier tonight throwing. All right, down to last out. Bednar gets him with a kind of like a backup breaking ball or something. Here, watch Luke's though on the second pitch. How scary this pitch is. Fastball in, first pitch, foul. And then here's the watch out. Watch out. Maybe this was on purpose. I don't know, but that'll shake you up a little bit. Then he ends up punching him out here on a... Oh, it's a high splitter is what it was. Oh, Lucas hates it. He tried to let the umpire know. All right, Vlad's in there. Bednar's pumping 98 right now. Falls behind 2-0, but... This is a very typical feeling of a team that's... fandom of a team that's been eliminated. Oh, Vlad, 3-0 count. Bednar tried to go 2-0 curveball. There's a strike. He's throwing really hard tonight. 98. See if he can put him away. Bednar's been throwing really hard tonight. What's his situation right now? Oof, Bayou Vlad on 3-1. 3-1 challenge heater. The Yankees did it tonight, man. They found a way. 8 fastballs, 7 curveballs, 3 splitters to this point. Throwing 97-ish. Trying to end this game right here. Ooh, Vlad fouls it off his foot. That looked like it hurt quite a bit. Green light? They need base runners right here. This doesn't make sense. It's not a green light sitch. Believe me, I love a green light, but this is not a green light sitch. I think the cool thing would be to end this game on a fastball. I just think if I'm pitching, I'm like, man, I would love to get a fastball strikeout here, but let's see. Gets the ground ball. Ooh, diving play by Caballero. Great play. Yankees win. Oh, Yankees win. And we have more baseball tomorrow. So, gutsy win by the Yankees. They were down bad in this game. And they come back and get it done. Unbelievable win for the Pinstripes tonight. And they get to play tomorrow. Schlittler will be there. Blue Jays have some pitching decisions to make. We'll be covering it on Baseball and Coffee tomorrow for sure. Big shout out to this Yankee bullpen. Cruz, Doval, Hill, Williams, Bednar. No freaking runs. We said that's what they were going to need to do to come back and win it. Judge had the big moment with the big swing. And they live to fight another day. 4 games tomorrow. We will have Dylan Betances on first thing in the morning, 10 a.m. And we're going to talk Yankees probably off the rip and how we're feeling coming into this series. We'll break that down. I'll probably let him go then, and we'll watch the rest of it. So that's it. You guys are awesome. We made it through both games tonight. We did. looks like almost 3 hours. That's insane. Plus MLB, thanks for hanging with me as well on the stream over there. But I'm going to say goodnight. I'm going to go to bed, and we're going to do this again tomorrow. So good stream, good night. More baseball tomorrow. See you later, guys. All right, bye.